Chapter 2440. Of course not. How can you think that way? Huamin almost rolled her eyes. Was she that kind of person? She always thought that no one in the world wanted Suyu to be happy more than she did. But the problem was, would Suyu appreciate it? If Huamian took the initiative to introduce someone to him, would he reject it? Or would he get angry? None of these things could be predicted. Then Mommy, you should help handsome Su find someone. Mommy, you're so smart and have a good eye for people. Your friends like Auntie Slightly, Auntie Lingling, Auntie Cece, Auntie Jia, and Auntie Bella are all so outstanding. If you meet a good girl in the hospital, remember to keep an eye out for handsome Su, okay? Little Bean tried to persuade Huamin. Of course. I'm just afraid that he'll. Forget it. Seriously, why am I talking nonsense with a 3-year-old like you? Seriously. After speaking, Huamin put her hand on her forehead and left. He almost fell for Little Bean's trick. She was just a kid. She was still happily talking nonsense with her. Suyu finding a girlfriend was a big deal. It wasn't something that the mother and daughter could decide at home. Downstairs, Chin Chu and his eldest daughter, Pudding, were also in a heated conversation. Pudding, Daddy, I still want to buy the whole corporation's shares. Chin Chu, although the money laundering crisis was resolved, the whole corporation won't be peaceful. You should wait and see. Pudding, no, I mean, when the next crisis happens and the stock price drops to the lowest point, I'll buy more. Chin Chu, and then. Pudding, maybe after the whole corporation collapses and the shares are divided, I can take advantage of the situation and get some of the shares. Of course, this is just my personal opinion. Chin Chu, are you interested in the whole corporation? Pudding, no, not interested. Chin Chu, then what's the point of doing this? Just to make money. Chin Chu couldn't figure out what his daughter was thinking. Pudding, although I'm not interested in the whole corporation, it used to belong to Mommy's family. I'm willing to help her get it back. Don't forget that Mommy's last name is also Hua. Chin Chu came to a sudden realization and smiled. Your mommy won't be interested. If she was, she wouldn't have given it up in the first place. She's never liked the Hua family. Pudding, even so, we can't let the Hua Xiqian take over the whole corporation. Chin Chu, your way of doing things is quite fresh. Daddy supports you. As an individual buyer, you won't arouse any suspicion. But you can't buy too much, no more than 10 million. Pudding, I know, Daddy. I'll be careful. Chin Chu, do you have enough money? Shall I transfer some to you? Pudding, no, I have enough money. I'll tell Daddy when I need it. Chin Chu, well done. It seems that the family business will depend on you from now on. I can't count on Little Bean. Chin Chu smiled and sighed with emotion. Pudding, no, I'm not interested. When I grow up, I don't want to run a business. Chin Chu was slightly surprised. Then what do you want to do? My wish is. Forget it, it's useless to say it now. Daddy will know in the future. As for the family business, I think we might have a younger brother in the future, so, don't worry, the Chin family will have a successor. Pudding said meaningfully as she patted her daddy's shoulder. Chin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that his daughters not only supported the idea of having a second child, but they also put it on the agenda. Hua Manor, boss, bad news. Something big happened at the company. Hua Xiqian's subordinate rushed in to report. Chapter 2441. What's the matter? Why are you in such a panic? Hua Xiqian was in a bad mood. Nothing good seemed to have happened recently. The bridge we were working on with Donglin Real Estate just collapsed. Hua Xiqian couldn't sit still when he heard this. He stood up immediately and asked, "What did you say?" "The news just came in. It said that the incident has attracted the attention of the higher-ups. The media is there, and Mayor Yen will probably go to the scene later." "Are there any casualties?" Hua Xiqian's expression was terrible. "I'm not sure yet, but the bridge was just completed last month and hasn't been officially opened yet. There shouldn't be many cars going through it, so there shouldn't be many casualties. It's just that, it's not good for the media. They're saying that our project is shoddy," Hua Xiqian's subordinate stammered. "How did this happen? What about Donglin? Is there any movement?" Hua Xiqian asked with a frown. After all, it was a collaboration between two companies. President Wang of Donglin was the brother-in-law of a high-ranking official, so he had a lot of connections. Back then, he tried his best to convince Hua Xiqian to work with him. Hua Xiqian didn't want to make money, he just wanted to give him face. Therefore, he made a symbolic investment. He didn't expect the media to spread the news and everyone knew that he had something to do with the bridge. Now that something had happened, he couldn't get away with it. President Wang of Donglin has turned off his phone. I asked the people in his company, but they said they couldn't reach him. He turned off his phone. That bastard ran away so fast. What the hell? Hua Xiqian tried to suppress his anger. "Boss, I think there's someone pulling the strings behind the scenes. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so coincidental. Of all the times, it happened when the higher-ups from the province came for an inspection." His subordinate reminded him. "I don't need you to tell me that. You don't even need to think to know. So many things have happened recently. It seems like my enemies can't wait any longer and want to kill me." Ha! Hua Xiqian laughed self-deprecatingly. "Boss, didn't we find out that Shen Mingxi had something to do with what happened last time? This time, it might be him again. Why don't we teach him a lesson? If this goes on, do you really think you're easy to bully?" "No, I don't have the time to play such childish games with him. I only have a month left. I have more important things to do." Hua Xiqian pondered for a moment before speaking slowly. "But boss, what should we do about the matter at hand? No matter who asks, just push the blame to Donglin. Just say that we were only in charge of getting the money and didn't care about anything else. Donglin CEO Wang was in charge of everything. Luckily, I held back. Otherwise, I would have been screwed over by this idiot." Hua Xiqian was impressed by his own wit. If he hadn't been on guard against this good-for-nothing, he wouldn't have been able to do so. He didn't put in any effort on the bridge, nor did he send people from his company to monitor it. Other than taking more than 10 million yuan as investment, there was nothing else for him to do. Now that he thought about it, it could be considered as an explanation. "Okay, boss, I'll go tell them now." After his subordinate left, Hua Xiqian rubbed his temples. He was in a bad mood. Recently, he didn't take any medicine. Instead, he drank hard liquor and fell into a deep sleep. Ian gave him a lot of pressure. It was something that ordinary people couldn't understand. As for Hua Mian, it seemed like she would have to make a decision sooner or later. "Southside Recuperation Center Vice Director, there's a Miss Nia at the door who wants to see you," the nurse on duty at the door informed him. "Miss Nia?" Hua Min froze for a moment before nodding. "Let her in." Hua Min thought it might be one of his former patients. To his surprise, the person who came in was the famous actress, Nia Lingxian. Chapter 2442. "Dr. Hua, am I bothering you?" Nia Lingxian asked with a gentle smile. "No, please have a seat, Miss Nia." Although surprised, Hua Min still welcomed the woman in a friendly manner. Huamin knew she was Cece's older sister, and they looked very similar. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nia Lingxian, Cece's older sister. She introduced herself as expected. Yeah, Cece told me about you, and I've seen you on TV many times. You look very much like Cece, Huamin said with a smile. Everyone says the same thing. My sister. She always talks about you in front of me and treats you like an idol. She always says you're good to her, so I've been wondering when I'll have the chance to meet you, the legendary big shot. You flatter me. Cece and I are good friends. Miss Nia, you don't have to be so polite with me. Huamin wasn't used to being complimented right off the bat. I didn't know what to buy when I came, so I brought a bouquet of lilies. Nia Lingxian put the bouquet of flowers on Huamin's desk. Thank you, Miss Nia. Dr. Hua, I'm here today for two things. First, I want you to do a checkup for me. Nia Lingxian didn't want to beat around the bush when she saw Huamin was so easygoing. Checkup? What do you mean? If you want a full-body checkup, I can arrange it for you. No, I want to do a mental checkup. I think I have mania. Mania? Huamin was slightly surprised. Emichim, you should know that I'm an artist, and I've been in Imperial Star Entertainment for a few years. I used to have big names like Zhao Qingya and Jian Tong, so I wasn't very popular. I was always a C-list actress and a supporting role. Although I wasn't very popular, I was very satisfied. I had a fixed fan base, and I had a lot of free time. When I was free, I could go shopping and drink tea with 3 to 5 friends, and the salary wasn't bad. But now, I've suddenly become an A-list actress. Not to mention the heavy workload, Mr. Su took good care of me and didn't make me take too many jobs. It's just that I can't adjust my mentality. People dug up my past, and now my words and actions are infinitely magnified by the paparazzi. I feel I'm very nervous right now, and I'm very scared. My heart is always hanging in the air, and I'm always afraid that I'll make a mistake. Also, I don't like the look of things, and I always want to get angry. I think it's because I can't handle stress well. I heard that you're a very authoritative doctor in neurology. Although you're not a psychologist, I still believe that you'll help me. Nia Lingxian told Huamin about her recent symptoms, and Huamin got the gist of it. Facing the sudden rise in popularity, her worries came one after another. This girl couldn't withstand stress, so she thought too much and put pressure on herself. Then, she became depressed. How long have you been like this? Huamin turned on the computer and asked as he typed in the information. About half a month. It's getting worse and worse, and it's seriously affecting my sleep. I'm not interested in anything now. My parents are taking care of me, and I want to lose my temper whenever I don't agree with them. I know it's wrong, but I can't control myself. My agent keeps telling me to pretend in front of fans. I'm really tired. Speaking of this, Nia Lingxian took out a box of cigarettes from her handbag. Do you mind if I smoke? She took out a cigarette and asked Huamin. It was obvious that she was really annoyed. If they really love someone, they won't care so much. But I can tell you one thing, the girl Siyu likes must have at least one thing. Huamin wanted to say something, but stopped on second thought. What is it? Nia Lingxian asked nervously. Chapter 2444. Please enter a brave and kind heart, Huamin said firmly. Nia Lingxian was slightly surprised. Then she smiled and said, Dr. Hua, you're a wise man. I've learned a lot. I'm not trying to trick you. I mean it. Suyu has a bad temper and people think he's arrogant and overbearing. However, he's actually very kind. If you get to know him better, you'll find that he has many good qualities. A man like him likes a woman with good character, Huamin analyzed. Okay, I understand. Anyway, thank you for telling me so much, Dr. Hua. You're welcome. It's fate that you found me. Also, I need to do a detailed analysis of your condition. How about this? If you have time, go and fill out a few questionnaires to test your current state of mind. Then I'll see what treatment plan you need. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hua. It's no trouble. Oh, Cece keeps in touch with your family, right? Huamin asked. Yes. My sister seems to be doing well in the States. My parents are reluctant to let her go, but they understand that she's pursuing her own happiness. Her temper is actually quite similar to mine. Sometimes, we're both stubborn. Otherwise, she wouldn't be alone after studying abroad for more than 3 years. I understand. Cece is also a good girl. Her boyfriend will take good care of her. Huamin smiled. After Niao Lingxian left, Huamin continued to work. Her days in the hospital were always fulfilling, but she was very happy. Becoming a doctor was her biggest wish, especially when she found out her real identity. She heard that her father, Professor Liu, and her biological mother were both outstanding medical experts. She was very proud of herself. After working for the whole afternoon, there were only 10 minutes left before she got off work. Huamin picked up her phone and was about to make a call when she received a WeChat message. It was from Han Su, the class representative who hadn't contacted Huamin in a long time. Han Su, Huamin, are you there? Huamin, class rep, I'm here. Go ahead. Han Su, well, we're going to organize a class reunion. I hope you and Qin Chu can come. Huamin, class reunion. To be honest, Huamin hesitated slightly when he heard the words, class reunion, again. After all, they hadn't contacted each other for a long time, and among those classmates, there weren't many who were on good terms with her. Zhu Lingling was the best, and they met often in private. Therefore, Huamin had no interest in such a gathering. Just as she was thinking about how to refuse, the class leader continued. Han Su, ever since you and Qin Chu got married, you've been on a meteoric rise. No one dares to disturb you guys. After all, you're not in the same social circle. I heard you're the deputy director of Southside now, so I know it's not easy to invite you guys. If it weren't for Lu Zhe's return, I wouldn't have called you. My classmates even joked that you guys wouldn't show up even if I was the class representative. Class rep. Don't say that. We're actually. Han Su's words made Huamin hesitant. It's really fine, Huamin. I won't make it difficult for you. It's okay if you don't come. However, as the class representative, it's my responsibility to organize a class reunion. I'm sincerely inviting you guys. Of course, you're all famous people now, so you're very busy. Of course, I know that you guys are busy. Han Su was very good at dealing with people, so his words were very tactful. His words directly put Huamin in a dilemma. If she went, she really didn't want to go. If she didn't go, she would be disrespecting the class representative. In the words of those classmates, she would be ignoring her classmates because she was rich. Lu Zhe kept emphasizing that he really wants to see you and asked me to invite you. Han Su added. Chapter 2445. Lu Zhe. The name sounded familiar to Huamian, but she couldn't remember who it was. It seemed so distant. I knew you'd forget. He used to be called Lu Haotian in our class, but he changed his name to Lu Zhe. His father used to be the deputy director of the Education Bureau. Han Su reminded him. Oh, it's him. Hua Mian vaguely remembered. Yeah, it's understandable that you don't remember him well. He transferred here in his second year of high school and stayed for less than a semester before transferring again. That's why a lot of students don't remember him. But he's doing pretty well now. I heard that he studied medicine and got his doctorate at Cambridge. I heard that he's working at a medical research institute overseas and has developed a lot of drugs. He's very good. Really? Hua Min was never interested in people he didn't know well. Therefore, even though Han Su was talking about him enthusiastically, Hua Min's reaction was still cold. Yeah, he remembers you very well. He said that you're a rare genius in our school. We met a few days ago and talked about you. When he heard that you're working at Southside, he wanted to meet you even more. That's why he kept asking me to invite you. I see. Is the time fixed? I want to see if I have any surgeries, Hua Min asked. 6:00 this Saturday night at the crystal clear water pavilion above Nanyang restaurant, Han Su replied. Hua Min flipped through the calendar on his desk. Okay, I got it. I don't have any surgeries that day, and I'm not on duty. I'll go, but my husband might not be free. You know, our 2 kids are quite noisy. I understand. I'll be happy if one of you can come. Really, thank you. Han Su seemed to be very satisfied with the result. When they got home from work, the twins and their grandparents were strolling in the backyard. Hua Min mentioned this to Chin Chu. I really envy those people. They seem to have nothing to do and gather every day. They're really free, Chin Chu said faintly. How many people are as busy as us? We are rare workaholics, okay? If you want to go, then go. I'm not going. I've booked a figure skating coach for Pudding and Little Bean this weekend. I plan to take them to the skating rink. Fine, you really are a father. You only have eyes for your daughter. Hua Min lowered his head and ate quietly. Is someone jealous again? Chin Chu looked at her with amusement. This lowly concubine doesn't dare. Hua Min pursed her lips, looking aggrieved. Then why do I feel like someone is filled with resentment? Chin Chu purposely lowered his head and asked. There's nothing I can do even if I'm filled with resentment. Who told my husband to be a slave to his daughter? Okay, in order to make you feel like you're being left out. I've decided. Chin Chu paused at this point. What's your decision? Hua Min looked at Mr. Chin curiously. I've decided to unlock a few new positions tonight to reward my wife. How can I do that? Husband, you've worked so hard. You work so hard during the day, and you work so hard at night. How can I bear to do that? Hua Min looked at him with a smile. It's okay. As long as my wife is happy, I can do whatever I want, Mr. Chin said shamelessly. This guy is a pervert. Identification complete, Hua Min scolded with a smile. The next morning, Hua Min finished his morning meeting at Southside and was walking back when Chen Jia said in a deep voice, Sis, Hua Sichen is here. Where is he? He's waiting in your office. I think he came here just to see you. Do you want me to send him away? Chen Jia knew that Hua Min hated Hua Sichen. Chapter 2446. No need. You might not be able to send him away. Since he's here, he'll definitely find a way to see me. Hua Min knew Hua Sichen well, so he didn't ask Chen Jia to brush him off. Hua Min was wearing a white lab coat, glasses, and a black folder in his hand. As the youngest vice director in C City, or even in the entire country, she really made a name for herself in the medical field. It was rumored that Jing City's Professor Luo was her master, and many people in the same field were jealous of her. In the past, people at Southside even suspected that she used her husband's money to get to where she was today. After a while, everyone realized that Hwa-min was really capable. Not only was he the head of the neurology department, but he also assisted his colleagues in the orthopedics department, gynecology department, and brain surgery department. He also managed the entire hospital, which was a lot of work. Hearing the door open, Hwa Si-chin turned around. The moment he saw Hwa-min, his eyes lit up slightly. "Mian, you're done with your morning meeting." "You're quite familiar with my work process," Hwa-min said faintly. Then, he walked to his desk and sat down. Hwa Si-chin carefully placed a lunchbox in front of her. "Almond pastries from May Temple. They're delicious." "Thank you. If you're here to bring me pastries, you can leave now." "I still have a lot of work to do," Hwa-min asked him to leave. "Mian, when will you stop being so hostile towards me?" Hwa Si-chin smiled helplessly. He no longer wore bright clothes. Instead, he wore dark gray clothes. However, because of his good looks, he was still attractive. Hwa Si-chin was actually quite charming. Otherwise, Mo Shue and Yen Ruoshi wouldn't be so loyal to him. Hwa-min sneered. "Hee, you hurt a person, and then you ask him why he hates you. Isn't that funny? If you're talking about how I caused you to be separated from Chin Chu for 4 years, then I have nothing to say. But I did it all for you." Hwa Si-chin felt wronged. "You keep saying that it's for me, but you hurt me. In this world, what you think is good is not really good. There are too many conflicts between us that can't be resolved and will never be resolved. So, you really won't come to me every day to confess your determination, and I don't have the time to listen." Hwa-min was now immune to Hwa Si-chin's confession. He was no longer as nervous and awkward as before, nor did he feel flustered. He just felt that it was boring to talk about this matter over and over again. "Mian, you've met Ian, right?" "Yes." Both of them were well aware of Ian's intentions. "Then do you know how anxious he is to find you?" "I do, so you can tell him who I am. That way, you'll be able to prove yourself in front of that murderer." "Is that how you think of me?" Hwa Si-chin raised his eyebrows in anger. "What else? How am I supposed to think of you? If I wanted to tell him, I would have done it a long time ago. Do you think you could have lived so peacefully all these years? Mian, you have to have a conscience. In Dong Tao Town, other than your father, Professor Liu, there's also me, Hwa Si-chin. All these years, I've been protecting you carefully. Perhaps it was because Ian gave him too much pressure, and he was too worried about Hwa-min. So, for the first time, the usually cheerful Hwa Si-chin got angry at Hwa-min. It was the first time he yelled at her. This was something Hwa-min didn't expect. "So, should I say thank you?" Hwa-min raised her head coldly and glared at Hwa Si-chin. Chapter 2447. Instead of answering Hwa-min's question directly, Hwa Si-chin stared into her eyes and asked word by word, "Mian, do you know why Dr. Lan and her family, who helped you deliver your baby, have been missing for a long time?" Hwa-min didn't speak, but she seemed to have an answer in her heart. "They've already been, enough, stop talking." Before Hwa Si-chin could finish, Hwa-min interrupted him with a stern expression. Hwa-min had already guessed the answer, but if he were to say it out loud, she still couldn't accept it. If someone loved you so much that they were perverted and willing to kill to protect you, who would be able to withstand this kind of pressure? No matter how calm and collected Hwa-min was, she was just a woman with a moral bottom line. "Hwa Si-chin, no matter what you do now, it seems like you want me to take the blame for you, right? I had something to do with Song Yisher's death, Jiang Linyue's death, and even Mo Shue's death. Now you're talking about Dr. Lan. Are you trying to make me feel guilty? Or do you think I should be like you, treating human lives like dirt? That's not what I meant, I just hope you can understand my heart. I've long understood your feelings, and I've already made some things clear to you. Between us, it's impossible, and it's impossible. Just give up. Not to mention that I have Chin Chu now. Even if I didn't have Chin Chu, I still wouldn't be with you, because the man I like has never been someone like you. Someone like me. Ha, what am I like? Do you think I want to be like this? Mian. I had no choice. If you understood my entire life and all the pain I suffered when I was young, you would understand me. Hua Xiqian smiled bitterly. No, I don't want to understand, and I can't. Plus, this isn't an excuse for you to harm others. Everyone has their own life, and no one's life is smooth sailing. You're not the only one who is pitiful, so don't use this as an excuse. It's meaningless. Anyways, I don't want anything to happen between us. Whether it's business wars or personal grudges between you and my husband, that's your business. Of course, I will always stand by Chin Chu's side unconditionally, and you will always be my enemy. Hua Min's rationality was admirable, but at the same time, it was terrifying. Because when she was rational, her words were often the most ruthless. Every time Hua Xiqian heard Hua Min say something like this, he felt a dull pain in his heart. He remained silent and looked at Hua Min with his deep eyes. He seemed to have 1,000 words to say, but he didn't know where to start. Don't try to clear your name in front of me, you can't do that. No matter what you do, you won't be able to erase the fact that you wronged Chin Chu and caused us to go to jail. You even separated us for 4 years. Even when I gave birth, he regretted not being by my side. All of this was because of you. So now that you say you love me, I really can't accept it. Maybe you really do love me, but your love is too much for me to accept. Mian, do you really think Chin Chu is a trustworthy person? Of course, Hua Min replied confidently. What if you find out that he's hiding something from you? Will you be sad? Hua Xiqian smiled mysteriously. What are you trying to say? Hua Min's face turned cold. Chapter 2448. You look like you really don't know anything. Hua Xiqian looked like he was gloating over her misfortune. Hua Min hated the way Hua Xiqian looked at him with a slight hint of anger in his eyes. Hurry up and tell me, or get out. I don't have time to chat with you. Mian, don't trust Chin Chu too much. He's not a god, he's just an ordinary man. It's inevitable that he'll make mistakes and disappoint you. I've told you before, I'm the only one in this world who won't betray you. I'm the only one who will love you with my life and soul. You can only be happy with me. Don't even think about it. Hua Min thought Hua Xiqian was ridiculous. What if Chin Chu betrayed you? Would you still forgive him if he had another woman? Are you going to be like those weak female celebrities in the entertainment industry, enduring humiliation in the name of protecting your child and your family? Are you going to cherish him? Hua Xiqian sneered. Chin Chu, he would never betray me, Hua Min said with certainty. Nothing is absolute in this world, silly girl, don't trust him too much. He might not be as good as you think. After speaking, Hua Xiqian turned around and left without giving Hua Min a chance to speak. Hua Min began to feel uneasy. Hua Xiqian seemed to know something. Was it because of what Ji Xin had mentioned to her before? Was Mr. Qin really hiding something from her? Did he never plan to tell her the truth? No, she couldn't listen to Hua Xiqian's attempt to drive a wedge between them. She had to trust Mr. Qin unconditionally. They had known each other since they were young. After all these years of going in circles and going through so much, they were finally together. It wasn't easy. How could she listen to someone else's words so easily? Huamin kept comforting herself in her heart. However, Huasiqian's words today left a knot in Huamin's heart. After work, Huamin drove straight to GK's headquarters, which he hadn't visited in a long time. President Hua. President Hua, good evening. Many employees greeted Huamin when they saw him. She had worked here for 3 years, so everyone was used to calling him President Hua, not a young lady. President Hua, you're here. On the top floor of GK's headquarters, Huamin, Bella just came out of the finance department's headquarters. Yeah, where's him? CEO Qin went down the site to check on the construction situation with a few engineers. He should be back soon. Okay, then I'll wait in his office. Make me a cup of coffee, Bella. Okay. After Huamin entered the office, she sat down in front of Qin Chu's desk. She rarely searched through his things. However, for some reason, perhaps because of Huasiqian's words, she secretly checked all the drawers in Qin Chu's desk. Other than the documents, there were only her photos. She looked exactly the same as before. Qin Chu's computer password was a combination of her birthday and the twins' birthdays. She opened it immediately. Huamin quickly went through all the disks on his computer. She didn't find anything suspicious. President Hua, here's your coffee. Okay, thank you. Huamin took the coffee and carefully took a sip. Then, she glanced at Bella and smiled. Has my husband been busy lately? Who's he been with? President Qin is very busy. He has a lot of meetings every day. He has to meet with investors, business partners, and construction workers. Didn't 3 major projects start construction at the same time? President Qin is taking it seriously. Oh. Huamin nodded. President Hua, are you here to see Qin Chu for something urgent? I'll call him now so you don't have to wait for too long. It's okay, I'll wait. I don't have anything to do anyway. Bella, can you call Jixin over for me? I have something to ask him. Chapter 2449. Shortly after Bella left, Jixin came in. With Qin Chu's guidance, Yang, and Bella's guidance, Jixin had become a lot more mature. No one thought that President Qin's brother-in-law was just a young master who came in through connections. Half a month ago, during the staff meeting, Jing Jixin was promoted from a small department manager to the director of operations. He looked more and more like an elite executive. Sis, why are you here? Jixin walked in wearing a black suit and smiled at Huamin when he saw him. I got off work early today so I came to see you. What happened? I heard you got promoted. You little brat, you're not doing well. Hee, of course it's because everyone helped me that I'm where I am today. But I was promoted half a month ago. Sis, you're so slow. Jixin complained. Huamin, how are things going between you and Bella? Don't tell me you haven't made progress. I went to her house for dinner last weekend. She cooked for me. Does that count as progress? Jixin said proudly. So are you guys still together? Huamin smiled helplessly. This silly little brother of his was such a sweet and naive person. He was so conservative even when it came to chasing girls. Take it slow. What's the rush? If I hit her too hard and scare her, we might not even be friends. Okay, you win. Jing Jixin. Sis, if you don't have anything else to say, I'll go out now. I still have some work to do. Oh, right. Mom said she misses Pudding and Little Bean. If you have time off this week, bring them home. Your in-laws are living at South Hill Manor now, so it's not as convenient for Mom and I to go there, I know. But wait, I have something to ask you. Min stopped Jishin. Okay, ask away, sis. Your brother-in-law. I mean, President Qin, has he been acting strangely lately? Huh? Acting strangely? No. Jishin was confused by his sister's question. He usually works at the company. Does he go out a lot? When he goes out, he's fine. But he doesn't go out alone often. Assistant Yang or I usually goes with him. Then, have you come into contact with any strangers that you're not familiar with? Brother-in-law only interacts with clients. Of course, I don't know many of them. Do we count as strangers? Jishin didn't know how to answer. Min was a little distracted, as if he was thinking about something. Sis, why do you look like you're interrogating a criminal? Don't tell me, you're suspecting brother-in-law of something. Jishin looked at his sister curiously. Didn't you tell me that your brother-in-law might have a mistress? Min looked at Jishin half-jokingly. I just happened to overhear a phone call. What if I misunderstood? I don't think. Brother-in-law is that kind of person. If there is a woman outside, there must be some clues, right? But now, he went home as soon as he got off work. He didn't have any social engagements. How could such a man have the time to find a woman? So, sis, don't be so suspicious. Okay, now you're trying to persuade me. That's not what you said before. Min smiled. Back then, I was doing it for your own good, so of course I had to be careful. But now that I'm at the company with brother-in-law all day, I'm basically monitoring him. Don't worry, if there's anything wrong, I'll report it to you immediately. Okay. Go do your work. Okay. After Jishin left, Min sighed slightly. She wasn't worried that Qin Chu was having a mistress behind her back. She was worried that Qin Chu would be restrained by Hua Xichin like last time. He wouldn't let her know, so Min wanted to ask if Jishin had found anything recently. However, she still didn't get anything. What are you thinking about? Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind, making Min jump. Although it was childish, Min still came to pick her up. He chatted with his best friend as they drove to the small restaurant in Nanyang that Han Su had mentioned. Damn! That purple Ferrari is so cool. It's a limited edition that will be released at the end of this year and costs more than 20 million yuan. Who owns it? Damn, it's so rich, Zhu Lingling exclaimed as she got out of the car and was attracted by the purple Ferrari. Chapter 2451. Mian, why don't you ask Mr. Qin to buy one too? It's so cool, forget it. Mr. Qin doesn't like high-profile cars. Even Siyu doesn't know how to drive a car like this. Only a kid like Tang Chuan would want to spend money on it. We have 2 babies now and sports cars are no longer practical. They're only used by rich and handsome men to flirt with girls. We'll have to switch to an RV, a nanny van, or a 7-seater business car. We have parents and children at home. You're right. The two chatted as they walked upstairs. When they reached the door of the private room, Han Su was already waiting for them. Hey, 2 beauties. You're finally here. Come on. Who's here? Class president. Zhu Lingling asked. Quite a lot. We're just waiting for you too. Come on in. Okay. Zhu Lingling nodded with a smile. Mian, did you both drive here? Han Su looked at Min, who was walking behind Zhu Lingling. No, we drove the same car. Is it your R8? Han Su's eyes lit up. Yeah, it's still my R8. Huamin was still low-key. Among the girls in our class, you're the only one with good taste. You're different from those nouveau riche girls who only know how to drive BMWs. They're so old-fashioned. No, I just like this car. I didn't think too much about it. Huamin smiled. Then, the three of them walked in. Perhaps because Zhu Lingling and Huamin were good-looking and had a good life, the moment they entered the room, the atmosphere became lively. Everyone began to shout, "You two beauties are late. You'll have to drink as punishment. Come on, 3 glasses each." What? Are you bullying us? Who's late? I'll drink 3 glasses. Show me how you do it. You drink 3 glasses first and I'll see, Zhu Lingling replied sharply to a male classmate who was shouting at her. Then, Han Su pulled out chairs for them and sat down. Han Su looked around and asked, "Where's Lu Zhe?" "Oh, I just went down to make a call and asked for wine. Young Master Lu's taste is very high, and he said that the wine here is not good," someone replied. Han Su nodded and didn't say anything else. When others took the initiative to greet him, Huamin also smiled politely. "Huamin, why isn't your husband here?" a chubby female classmate asked. "Oh, he's busy today. It's really different when you have money and status. It seems that people don't want to come to such places." A boy interrupted sourly. Huamin did not say anything, but Zhu Lingling was unhappy. She looked at the young man and said, "Look at what you're saying. If you said that, Huamin wouldn't have come. Don't think so badly of people. It's your own inferiority complex. Don't talk about money. You're almost 30 years old." When Zhu Lingling finished speaking, the boy's face turned ugly. Han Su quickly tried to smooth things over and said with a smile, "See, Sister Lingling is showing her power. Don't bully people who came later." But after all, they were classmates. Hearing that he was in such a miserable state now, she felt quite uncomfortable. "By the way, Huamin, didn't Wei Dong chase after you back then?" "Ha! You're lucky you didn't date him," a girl said sarcastically. "Don't mention that. Wei Dong was never Mian's cup of tea," Zhu Lingling replied domineeringly on behalf of Huamin. "Huamin, I heard that you're the vice director of Southside now." Lu Zhe looked at Huamin's handsome side profile with Han Su in between them. "Yeah." Huamin nodded, but it was obvious that he wasn't in the mood to chat with him. "Then can you introduce me to someone?" "I want to work at Southside," Lu Zhe said in all seriousness. Everyone was dumbfounded. Huamin was also slightly surprised. "Young Master Lu, are you kidding? Don't scare our goddess Hua." Han Su looked at the rich kid beside him and asked. Chapter 2453. Lu Zhe looked at Huamin with a smile. "I'm not joking, I'm being serious. But young Master Lu, you don't lack money?" a classmate asked in confusion. "Yeah, someone who drives a limited edition Ferrari and says he's going to work at Southside." "What a weird scene," someone else interrupted. Just then, Zhu Lingling came to a realization. "Oh, so that fancy purple Ferrari downstairs is yours." Lu Zhe smiled and silently admitted it. "Working in the medical industry is my hobby. It has nothing to do with money. Everyone has goals and hobbies in life, right? If you only chase after money, it's boring." "Ha, someone who's worth over 100 million yuan, we don't really understand." Han Su also laughed. "Huamin, can you help me?" Lu Zhe asked Huamin for the second time. "If you want to go, you can just go for an interview. Actually, I can't help much. Although I'm the vice director, I'm only a director in name. Everyone knows that whether it's South Side or the first hospital, President Wu has the final say. So, I'm really ashamed. Obviously, Huamin didn't want to help, so he made himself sound like he was useless. It seems like. Goddess Hua, you don't want to help me. Lu Zhe was still smiling. It's not that I'm not busy, it's just that my abilities are limited. Huamin smiled faintly. Then, the topic was over, and everyone began to talk about interesting things that happened in school. To be honest, Huamin wasn't interested in these things. In the past, he might have cared about their friendship, but just now, when he heard them talking about Wei Dong, their tone and attitude made Huamin want to vomit. During the banquet, people kept toasting each other. Of course, everyone chose those with status to toast first. Lu Zhe had become the star of the class reunion. He was supposed to be the star of the class reunion. Although he wasn't a high-profile person, he couldn't resist the flattery. Zhu Lingling whispered into Huamian's ear, "Do you see these assholes? Snobs look down on others, sticking to rich people whenever they see one. They can't wait to call him father. How spineless." Huamin held the wine glass and only smiled slightly, not saying much. Lingling was right. Her words were crude, but her logic was not. "Young Master Lu, thank you so much for this gathering. Now that you're doing well, you should help us out in the future." A male student said to Lu Zhe, his face red from drinking. "Yeah, Lu Zhe, don't drag us poor people down with you." "Oh yeah, are you married yet?" a girl gossiped. After this question was asked, all the girls present wanted to prick up their ears to listen. "Not yet. I studied abroad for many years. I just came back." "Wow, then aren't you a rich bachelor now?" a girl jeered. "I'm not a rich bachelor. I'm a bachelor," Lu Zhe said self-deprecatingly. "Young Master Lu, your father retired a long time ago. Is he still in China?" someone else asked. "Oh, my parents retired a long time ago. They're living with my sister in Australia. My sister studied in Australia a long time ago and worked there. Then, she got married. My brother-in-law is Chinese too. My parents can help take care of the children there. They haven't been back for a long time. Your family emigrated. Why did you suddenly come back?" Zhu Lingling thought it was strange. "Because I want to come back to find a girl that I liked and confess to her." Lu Zhe looked meaningfully at Huamin, who was playing with his phone beside Han Su. Chapter 2454. As soon as Lu Zhe finished speaking, everyone began to cheer. "Wow, who is it? Is it one of our classmates?" someone asked. "Are you secretly in love with our goddess Hua?" Han Su joked. Lu Zhe only smiled and didn't answer the question. After everyone toasted Lu Zhe, they began toasting Huamin. They knew that she had married into a rich family and was extremely prestigious. However, Huamin didn't seem to be in the mood today. No matter who toasted her, she only took a small sip. "Goddess Hua, what are you doing? You're not giving us face. Are you looking down on us poor people?" Everyone seemed to be unhappy that Huamin didn't toast. Before Huamin could answer, Zhu Lingling rolled her eyes and defended her. "What do you know? Mian is preparing for her second child. Mr. Qin already forbade her from drinking. She's already giving you face by taking a sip. Don't be so greedy. So soon. She's preparing for her second child?" Han Su was also surprised. Huamin secretly stepped on Zhu Lingling's foot. "Damn it, are you trying to kill me? Who told you that I'm preparing for my second child?" Min was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole in the ground to hide in. If I didn't say that, they would have continued to gossip. Zhu Lingling chuckled in a low voice. You already have a baby. Lu Zhe looked at Min and asked in all seriousness. My daughter is already 3 years old, Min replied. And they're twins, Zhu Lingling added. I see, then they must be as cute as you. Lu Zhe smiled gently. No, they look like my husband. They're prettier than me. Min was full of pride at the mention of the twins. Just like that, time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. When Lu Zhe came back from paying the bill, the wine he ordered had just arrived. Min saw that it was a 1991 Lafite Legend. Although it was not very expensive, it was definitely not cheap. We're done eating, and the wine just arrived. Why don't we go somewhere else? I'll treat everyone to a song, Lu Zhe suggested. Alright, it's rare for young Master Lu to be in such a good mood, we must accompany you to the end. Those people also joined in the commotion. Min glanced at his phone and said calmly, You guys go ahead. I won't be going. I'm going back with Lingling. See you next time. Is that so? Shall I drive you? Lu Zhe passed the red wine in his hand to Han Su. No need, we drove here. After that, Min said goodbye to Zhu Lingling and left. Lu Zhe stared at Min's back, deep in thought. Min is still the same as before. She's so cocky. I can't stand seeing her like this. She's so pretentious. A girl complained unhappily. Don't say that. Min is a nice person. Han Su defended her. What's so nice about her? Ever since she became rich, no one has ever asked her to do anything for them. She didn't come to last year's party either. The last time she came, it was because Qin Chu came. If you ask me, this woman is too scheming. I suddenly remembered that I have something to do, so I won't go with you guys. Class president, this is my VIP card. Take it and go to the song. I'll pay for everything. Lu Zhe opened his wallet, took out a gold card, and stuffed it into Han Su's hand. Then, he took the red wine and went downstairs. Young Master Lu, what's wrong? What's this? Everyone was confused. On the way back, Zhu Lingling was scrolling through WeChat in the passenger seat. She asked Min, You're not yourself today. What's wrong? Lingling, don't you think there's something wrong with Lu Zhe? Min frowned and asked her. Chapter 2455. Really? I didn't notice. Zhu Lingling wasn't paying attention to Lu Zhe, so she was surprised by Min's sudden question. If Han Su didn't tell me about Lu Zhe, I would have forgotten about him. He's a transfer student and didn't stay in our class for long. Many people probably don't remember him. If he really is a class reunion, he shouldn't be with us. I have a feeling that he's up to no good, Min said worriedly. Are you suspecting Lu Zhe? Zhu Lingling finally understood what Min meant. Isn't he worthy of suspicion? That's not it. I just think that he has nothing to do with us. Even if he shows up, he won't do anything to us, right? But you're right. It's better to be safe than sorry. If he really wants to work at Southside and look for you, you have to be careful. Don't make Mr. Qin jealous. Zhu Lingling smiled. I know. After the reunion, Min drove Zhu Lingling home before returning to South Hill Manor. Qin Chu and the kids weren't back yet, so she took the opportunity to go to Sky Blessing Court. Jixin went out to eat with his friends, so Yang Meirong was home alone. She was overjoyed to see her daughter. Mian, why are you here alone? Where are Pudding and Little Bean? Dad took them to learn how to ice skate. They're not back yet. Oh, they're so young. What's the point of learning that? It's so tiring. Parents like you don't give your kids any space. Mom, we didn't make them. They wanted to learn, Min explained with a smile. Have you eaten yet? I have. Then I'll wash some fruit for you. I bought some strawberries at the market this morning. Then, young Meirong got up and went to the kitchen to wash some fruit for Min. Min was looking at the news on his phone when he suddenly noticed that there was a lot of negative news about the Hua Corporation. Moreover, Hua Xiqian had not made any big moves. This was not his style. Could it be that he was plotting something big again? Recalling the strange words Hua Xiqian had said to him that day, Min still had a lingering fear. I wonder what he knows. Mian, I don't mean to criticize you, but you're still so young, why are you working so hard? Don't neglect your family. I watch TV shows every day, and many loving couples end up dead because they're too busy with work. Min picked up a strawberry, put it in his mouth and took a bite. Then, he leaned on his mother and acted like a spoiled child. Mom, TV dramas are all lies. Real life is not like that. At least, Chin Chu and I are not like that. Don't say that. Chin Chu is still young. It's time for you two to consider having a second child. Mom, this is not an urgent matter. Don't keep rushing us. Jixin told me that Chin Chu's company has a lot of young and beautiful female employees. Those women dress up every day and are looking for a chance to get close to the boss. Girls nowadays are so snobbish. They only care about money. They're not like us back then. So, you have to be careful, okay? Keep an eye out for the women around Chin Chu. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. Min wanted to burst out laughing, but seeing how serious his mother was, he didn't have the heart to refute. If you ask me, you should hurry up and have a son to strengthen your position. Mom, his family doesn't have a throne to pass down. Why do you want me to have a son? Min didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chapter 2456. Look at you. You talk back to me 10 times. I'm doing this for your own good. Young Meirong was the same. Every time they met, she was basically a long-winded chatterbox. Luckily, Min knew what his mother was like, so he didn't argue with her. Okay. I got it. Mom, I'll remember what you said. Outside the skating rink after learning how to skate, Chin Chu walked out with the twins and carried them to the car. Daddy, are we going home? Little Bean asked. Yeah. But I'm so hungry. I'm afraid I can't make it to our house. After all, it's so far away. Little Bean pouted. So, what do you mean? Chin Chu looked at his little daughter, amused. Daddy, let me say it for her. She means, we should find a restaurant nearby and eat first, Pudding said. Daddy, I heard there's a restaurant nearby that serves really good pork ribs. Sure enough, in Little Bean's eyes, food was more important than the sky. Okay. Let's go eat first. Chin Chu couldn't resist his daughter's coquettish request. Daddy, can you call Mommy and ask if she's coming? Mommy loves pork ribs too. Little Bean was sympathetic and didn't forget her mommy. No. Your mommy went to a class reunion. She must have eaten already. What? Class reunion. Oh my God. Daddy, what are you thinking? How can you let Mommy go? Little Bean covered her face with her hands in shock. Chin Chu closed the car door, fastened his seatbelt in the driver's seat, and started the car. What's wrong with a class reunion? He didn't forget to talk to his daughter through the rearview mirror. It's said that the purpose of a class reunion is not pure. It's either to show off your wealth, or to pursue the girl you didn't manage to pursue back then. Mommy was a goddess back in school. Daddy, think about it. There must be a lot of guys who have bad intentions towards her. Aren't you asking her to take a risk? Little Bean rattled on. Little Bean, aren't you afraid that Mommy will kill you if she hears you? Pudding glanced at Little Bean's face. There's only the three of us here. How could Mommy hear us? Daddy won't betray me, unless you too. All right, I'll take you to eat first. Chin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he spent every day with these two devils. Little Bean was very gossipy and sometimes her words were really shocking. At the entrance of the pork chop rice restaurant, Chin Chu parked the car. Just as he was about to enter with the twins, he suddenly heard a familiar voice. Daddy, what are you looking at? Pudding looked up at her daddy. No, nothing. Let's go in. After Chin Chu came back to his senses, he walked into the restaurant with his daughters. After ordering, Chin Chu took out his phone and sent a WeChat message to Huamin. Honey, where are you? My mother is here. Didn't I tell you just now? Is it still there? Yeah, it's still here. What's wrong? Huamin was curious. I'm fine, you don't suspect me, do you? Damn it. I can video call you. Then, Huamin clicked on the video call invitation. Chin Chu pressed the answer button and saw that Huamin was indeed behind his house at Sky Blessing Court. His mother-in-law was sitting next to Huamin and watching TV. Honey, what's with that expression? Don't you recognize me? Huamin laughed. I just saw. Chin Chu didn't know how to explain it. What did you see? Huamin was even more curious because she had never seen Chin Chu look so confused. Chapter 2457. Nothing. In the end, Chin Chu didn't say anything. You're so paranoid. You scared me to death. Huamin let out a long sigh. Mommy, come and eat pork chop rice. It's delicious. No, Mommy already ate. You guys eat. Come back early with Daddy. I'll drive home soon. Okay, Mommy. See you later. After hanging up, Little Bean peeked at her daddy and smiled. You said you believed in Mommy. You even video-checked her, right? Good thing Mommy came back early. Otherwise, if she really went to karaoke with her classmates, you would have caught her red-handed. The two kids thought Chin Chu video-called Huamin because he wanted to check on him. In fact, only he knew about it. After dinner, Chin Chu drove the kids back to South Hill Manor. The kids were playing with their grandparents in the living room. Chin Chu went upstairs alone and called Gao Ran. President Chin, what's your order? Gao Ran, help me investigate someone. Who? I don't know who she is. Damn it. Bro, are you kidding me? If you don't know who she is, how do you want me to investigate? Gao Ran was speechless. How about this? Go to the local database and find Mion's photo. Do a comparison and see if there's anyone who looks like her. Someone who looks like Huamin. Gao Ran was completely dumbfounded. Yes. Are you sure? I'm sure. Chin Chu's tone was firm. Bro, I'm a bit confused. What's going on? Are you trying to find Huamin's twin sister? Gao Ran asked. No, I just saw someone on the street today. Forget it. I'll tell you later. You can investigate first. Okay. I'll try. But it might not work. After all, you don't even know her name. It's too hard to investigate. After the phone call with Gao Ran, Qin Chu sat in his study and pondered for a long time. He tapped his fingers on the table, thinking about this strange thing. He didn't even notice Huamin coming in. Huamin came in quietly. Seeing Qin Chu in deep thought, she suddenly jumped out as a prank. Whoa! She wanted to scare Mr. Qin. She didn't expect that he wouldn't fall for it at all, which made her feel very awkward. Can you give me a reaction? It's so embarrassing. Huamian covered her face. Gently, Qin chose and put her on his lap. How was the party? In short, it's extremely boring, Huamian concluded. Ha, I knew it. I really don't know why these people organized parties. Qin Chu sneered. To expand my network, of course. They're all snobbish and are very polite to me. They even asked why you didn't go. What's even more ridiculous is that when they heard that Wei Dong went bankrupt, they were all so happy. They didn't even have any sympathy for him, Huamian complained. It's normal. This is how society is. So, I don't want to go to parties like this in the future. Yeah, I think so too. By the way, honey, do you remember Lu Zhe? Huamin turned around and hugged Qin Chu's neck. I don't remember. I knew you wouldn't remember. He's the transfer student from our second year of high school. His father is from the Education Bureau. Huamin reminded him. I still don't remember. Okay, Ha. Huamin was helpless. What's wrong? Is he here today? Yeah, he's here. He just came back and seems to be rich. He drives a flashy car. I heard he's also a medical student. But I feel like there's something wrong with the timing of his appearance. I can't put my finger on it. Huamin tilted her head and thought. Mian, let me ask you, have you ever seen a woman who looks like you? Qin Chu asked in all seriousness as he placed his hand on her shoulder. Chapter 2458. Someone who looks like me. Huamin was stunned by his question. Yeah. Have you seen her before? Does Mian count? Huamin covered his mouth and laughed. Mian was an artist under Su Yu's company. She had been in the limelight for a while. Later, it was rumored that she met the boss of a corporation. Then, she was busy dating and left the entertainment industry. The woman's stage name had the same pronunciation as Huamin's, so Su Yu paid attention to her and praised her for a while. Later, when the woman found out that Su Yu liked Huamin, she deliberately went to a plastic surgery clinic to change her facial features. She became more delicate and pretty, but she was still far from looking like Huamin. Other than their names, they did not resemble each other at all. No, I'm talking about looks. Think about it carefully, Qin Chu said seriously. Looks? I don't think so. I'm not that good looking to begin with, so even if I had plastic surgery, I don't think anyone would look like me. You know that Yen is my biological sister, but she doesn't look like me at all, let alone anyone else. What's wrong? Why are you suddenly asking this? Nothing. I just happened to see a woman today. Her back looks very similar to yours. Hey, I thought it was something serious. Isn't it normal to have similar backs? Huamin hugged Qin Chu and kissed him gently. Then, he turned around and walked out. I'm going downstairs to check on the kids. You go ahead. As soon as Huamin left, Gao Ran called back. How was it? Did you find her? Chin Chu asked anxiously. Bro, I really looked. I looked very carefully, but I really couldn't find her. She didn't even look 30% like Huamin. Did you see wrongly? Gao Ran browsed through many photos of women on his computer, but he did not find any that looked like Huamin. Alright, I got it. After that, Chin Chu hung up the phone and frowned slightly. The situation was getting more and more complicated. At this time, this kind of thing happening was very strange. How could Chin Chu not think about it? Mumbai, India. Lu Yan was wearing a local long dress and a headscarf as she walked carefully on the street. She was really in trouble this time. Not only did she have to hide from Ian, but she also had to worry about the assassins who were after her for the 1 billion. After she and Xiao Fei left Russia, they went to Tanzania, then went all the way from Africa to Australia, and finally to Nepal and India. The more crowded and messy a place was, the better it was for her to hide. However, India was so dirty and messy that she really didn't like it. After buying some snacks, she carried them through a small alley and found 2 Indian men standing in front of her, blocking her way. In order not to expose her whereabouts, Lu Yan didn't want to cause trouble, so she turned around and walked back. However, he realized that there were also 2 bearded Indian men behind him. It seemed that they were surrounded and there was no way out. Hee hee, this woman looks so fair. She's not like us. We must have some fun today, one of the men said in Indian. I'm in a good mood today and don't want to kill anyone. You have 10 seconds to get out of here, Lu Yan said in perfect Indian. Whoa, she can speak our language. This foreigner is not bad. One of the men was pleasantly surprised. Woman, we don't want to hurt you. Take off your clothes and lie down. The Indian Hindus were like mosquitoes that saw blood when they saw a woman. Their eyes were all filled with bestiality. Damn it. They're forcing me to fight. Lu Yan sighed and threw the food in her hand to the ground. She murmured in Chinese and swung her fists. It had been a long time since she fought with her bare hands. What's she talking about? The Indian men were confused. Chapter 2459. These Hindustani men were really unlucky. There were so many women in Mumbai, but they didn't kidnap anyone. It was the first time Lu Yan had encountered a group of people who wanted to kidnap her. She had heard that Hindustani men were disgusting and would hurt girls on the bus. Since she met them today, she decided to teach them a lesson. She didn't even need to use her gun to deal with these small fries. Seeing Lu Yan toss the food on the ground and rub her palms together, the guys were surprised. However, because they had the advantage in numbers, they still rushed forward regardless of life and death. Lu Yan didn't like the silk scarf on her head, so she pulled it off, revealing her beautiful face. When the Hindustanis saw the girl's face, they pounced on her like hungry wolves. Lu Yan reacted quickly and kicked one of them down. Then, she stepped on the man's body and leaped into the air. She spun around and sat on the man's head. She twisted her legs and broke the man's neck instantly. Her explosive strength was obvious. 2 men screamed like pigs being slaughtered. The other 2 trembled and charged at her. Lu Yan pressed down on one of the men's head and kneed him in the groin. It hurt so much that even his own mother couldn't recognize him. The last one was even easier. Lu Yan opened her scarf and wrapped it around the man's neck. Then, she pulled hard. Ugh! The man didn't have time to scream before Lu Yan killed him. If Lu Yan attacked them, they would all die without exception. She killed 4 people in less than 50 seconds. This was Lu Yan, a legendary woman in the mercenary world. Looking at the 4 dead bodies on the ground, Lu Yan wiped her hands with a tissue. Then, she picked up the food bags on the ground and walked back to her room. To avoid being hunted, she and Xiao Fei rented a private apartment. It was only 100 square meters but was very luxurious. It was the third floor of a residential building. When she returned, she felt something was wrong. She quickened her steps and saw the door was open. There were bloodstains at the door. She was shocked. She put the pistol in her sleeve and rushed in. Sure enough, there were two unfamiliar bodies in the room, a man and a woman. Xiao Fei. Lu Yan yelled in panic. She was really afraid that something would happen to him. Psycho Qiao, come out. Lu Yan's voice trembled. At this moment, a familiar figure walked out of the kitchen with a can of beer in his hand. I'm here. What's wrong? Are you okay? Lu Yan rushed up and asked with concern. I'm fine. Then they. Lu Yan pointed at the unfamiliar bodies on the ground. These people are nothing. I killed them. I thought you were coming back soon, so I went to the kitchen. Didn't you want to cook noodles for me? Oh, where are the noodles? Damn it, you scared me to death. Lu Yan roared and threw the food in her hand at Xiao Fei angrily. Lu Yan's Lu Yan was Lu a lesson. To Lu Yan S's. Fuck off. I don't want to worry about you. It's best if you die so that I don't have to pay for your food and lodging, Lu Yan said angrily. Our Yan is very angry. What happened? Did you get robbed on your way back? Xiao Fei asked. How did you know? Lu Yan looked back at him curiously. You were full of murderous intent when you came back. How could I not know? Xiao Fei leaned against the door and looked at Lu Yan. This place is not safe. We must leave as soon as possible, Lu Yan said uneasily as she looked at the bodies on the ground. Where should we go? Do you have a good idea? Psycho Qiao, do you think we should go find my sister or my dad? Lu Yan looked back and asked Xiao Fei seriously. Chapter 2460. You mean? Xiao Fei didn't expect Lu Yan to come up with such a crazy idea. That's right. Instead of running around the world, I'd rather go find my family, but aren't you afraid of bringing trouble to them? Especially your sister. I can't be afraid forever. You know that Ian is investigating now. I think it won't be long before he finds out about your sister. I'm afraid we can't hide it for long. It's better to face it directly than to live in fear. Even so, I still think you're too reckless. Xiao Fei, I'm afraid, what if? Lu Yan didn't finish her sentence. Xiao Fei walked over, took her hand, and put it to his lips. Don't think too much. You have me. He knew what Lu Yan wanted to say, but he wouldn't let her say something so pessimistic. As long as he was alive, he wouldn't let anything happen to Lu Yan. Hearing this, Lu Yan felt warmth in her heart. The more time she spent with Xiao Fei, the more she realized that he was a man of few words. But when it came to warmth, he was no worse than anyone else. In fact, he was even better at it. She wanted to say that she was afraid that she would be killed one day and wouldn't even be able to see her family for the last time. He met his father, his sister, and his mischievous nieces. But Xiao Fei didn't let her say it, so she felt that this man really cared about her. The two didn't have time to eat. They simply packed their luggage and left Mumbai in a hurry. Due to the chaos in India, the airport was absolutely safe. Xiao Fei and Lu Yan got an old pickup truck and drove through 3 cities. Then, they changed planes and flew away, shaking off their pursuers. In the headquarters of Indonesia, they ran away. one of the soldiers reported in Indonesian. Bastard. The old Indonesian officer stood up and slammed the table in anger, cursing his subordinates. You bunch of idiots. You can't even catch a woman. Sir, she's not an ordinary woman. She's very powerful. Those assassins who went for the bounty all died in her hands. I don't want to listen to your explanation. Continue the hunt. Yes, sir. When the soldier turned to leave, Ian walked in with his subordinate. Officer Merk, you're so angry. Ian smiled. Master Ian, you're here. The officer immediately greeted Ian politely when he saw him. How is it? I heard you have news about Lu Yen. Ian leaned against the sofa and asked casually. Yes, but they ran away. I sent a lot of people to Mumbai, but... At this point, the officer seemed to be ashamed. Don't be depressed. It's normal that you can't kill Lu Yen. If you could kill her so easily, you wouldn't be a top mercenary. Yes, Lord Ian is right. How about this? Stop sending your people and don't cause any more trouble. Leave Lu Yen to me. I want her alive. Master Ian wants to capture that woman as well. Yes, she is, very useful to me. Ian smiled mysteriously. Okay, then I'll send her current whereabouts to you, sir. After saying that, the officer picked up a high-tech positioning device and handed it to Ian. According to our tracking, she and her partner have already taken a flight to Israel. They'll arrive in 5 hours. Partner. Oh, right, I almost forgot. That guy from the Chow family left his family and is with her now, Ian said slowly as he rested his head on his hand. Sir, do you need us to set up a hunting operation in Israel? That's our territory, one of Ian's subordinates whispered in his ear. Chapter 2461. No need. I want Lu Yen alive, not dead, Ian said slowly. Sir, that woman bombed your branch. Don't you hate her? The Indonesian officer didn't understand why Ian was so merciful. She's probably the only person in the world who dares to go against me. If she dies, I'll be bored for the next 6 months. Ian placed his finger on his lips and kissed it. Then, he revealed a bloodthirsty smile. He hadn't had enough of this game of cat and mouse because Lu Yen was too tenacious. She had lost her life to him many times, but in the end, she came back from the brink of death and fought back. This made him more and more interested in her. Southside Recuperation Center. When it was time for the morning meeting, Director Wu brought a young man in with him, causing everyone to look over. Colleagues, this is Lu Zhe, a new doctor from the Department of Hepatobiliary and Pancreatic Surgery. Huamin was looking down at the documents, but when he heard the name, he looked up immediately. It's him. Huamin was surprised to see Lu Zhe. They had just met at the party and he didn't expect him to come so soon. He even went straight to President Wu. He was really something. Huamin. Director. Huamin heard President Wu call his name and slowly stood up. You're the Vice Director of Southside. Please take care of our new colleague. Dr. Lu is very good and has won many awards. Okay. Huamin nodded and didn't say anything else. Lu Zhe looked at Huamin and smiled gently. Please take care of me, Vice Director Hua. You're welcome, Dr. Lu. After the morning meeting, Huamin took the documents and walked to his office. Lu Zhe followed him. Hi, we meet again. He smiled. Yeah, what a coincidence. Huamin's tone was perfunctory. You don't think it's rude of me to do this, do you? Of course not. It's your right to choose where to work, Huamin said indifferently. That's good. I just came back from abroad, and there are many things that I don't know. As an old classmate, you have to take care of me. You're exaggerating. Everyone has a profession. Although I'm the vice president, I'm just a doctor. Don't think too highly of me. I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. That won't happen. You're a genius. I've heard about all the things you've done in China. When you were an intern nurse, you performed a C-section on a pregnant woman. Even though you were sued, you still saved the mother and child. Later on, you even saved President Wu's niece's pregnancy. All in all, I've heard about all the amazing surgeries you performed. I really admire you. Lu Zhe looked at Huamin with slight admiration. Those are just rumors. Saving patients is what doctors should do. If you were in that situation, you would do the same. No, it's different. I know you're still that kind girl. I heard you're Professor Luo's student? How should I put it? You could say that. I owe Professor Luo a lot, Huamin said vaguely. What a coincidence. Professor Luo used to be my mentor. After I left the country, we kept in touch. I heard about you from him. At the time, I thought that many years later, you were still the same person. You're always the center of attention. Dr. Lu, it's time to go back to work. You should report to your department head now. Have a good day. Huamin didn't want to catch up with Lu Zhe at all. If he tried to curry favor with him, it would only make Huamin more cautious. Inside the office, Huamin thought for a while and called Jiang Xiaowei, who was back at the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Mian, what's up? Xiaowei knew that something must have happened if he called her at work. Xiaowei, help me investigate someone. Chapter 2462. Okay, what is it? Lu Zhe. Do you know where he lives? Jiang Xiaowei turned on her computer and entered the city bureau system to search for information. I don't know. I think he moved a long time ago. Apparently, his parents are abroad. How do we find out? There are many people with the name Lu Zhe. He used to study at Second High School. His father used to be a high official in the Ministry of Education. Huamin provided some useful information. Okay, wait a moment. A minute later, Jiang Xiaowei sent the information she found to Huamin's phone. Huamin was slightly disappointed after reading it. The information was simple and didn't seem suspicious. Just then, Jiang Xiaowei sent her a WeChat message. Mian, how was it? Did it help you? No, the information is too simple. I couldn't find anything. What's wrong with this guy? Did he offend you? Jiang Xiaowei asked again. No, I just think he's very suspicious. I want to find out what he's up to. Oh, I see. Why don't you talk to Qin Chu and ask him to investigate you through other channels? Maybe he'll find something, Jiang Xiaowei suggested. Okay, I'll talk to Mr. Qin later. Putting down his phone, Huamin fell into deep thought. Mr. Qin had a lot of things to deal with recently, and Lu Zhe didn't seem to have done anything inappropriate to her. She didn't want to think that this guy had ulterior motives, so she didn't want to tell Mr. Qin so that he wouldn't worry. Just then, her phone rang again. Huamin looked down and saw that it was Su Yu. Su Yu rarely called her, so Huamin picked up immediately. Mian, where are you? At the hospital, south side. Did you leave the house just now? Did you come to Anqing Road? Su Yu asked. No, I came to south side this morning. I just finished a meeting. Why? I see. Su Yu was deep in thought. What is it? Huamin asked nervously. Then I probably got the wrong person. Suyu murmured in a low voice and hung up the phone. Hua Min frowned slightly. Did Suyu also see someone who looked like her? What was going on? At the entrance of a bank on Onqing Road, Suyu and An drove to the bank. When they came out, they saw a girl whose side profile was very similar to Hua Min. Most importantly, her temperament, clothes, and hairstyle were very similar. What the hell? I thought it was Mian, but she's still at South Side. Suyu was confused. President Su, I think so too. Could it be that President Hua has a twin sister? Anne's imagination ran wild as he pondered. That's impossible. Hua Min knows his own background. He shouldn't have a sister. Is it really a coincidence? What the hell? Good thing I didn't go up and say hi, or else it would have been so awkward. Then, Suyu got into his Lamborghini. After Qin Chu, Suyu was the second person who saw someone who looked like Hua Min. Luckily, he was calm enough to call and ask first. At the entrance of a kindergarten, Hui Yanyan drove a white Porsche sports car to the entrance of the kindergarten to pick up her daughter. When she was told that her daughter had been picked up by someone, she froze. Then, she felt that something was wrong. If Shen Mingxi had picked up her daughter, he would have told her. He wouldn't have done it secretly. How do you take care of your children? How can you just let someone pick up my daughter? Hui Yanyan was furious. Miss Hua, we didn't do it casually. The person who picked up Tian Tian was your older brother, the uncle of the child. He's a man of status, so my older brother. Hui Yanyan was dumbfounded when she heard this. Is it? Hua Xiqian, she asked in a trembling voice. Chapter 2463. Yes, it's Mr. Hua Xiqian. If he didn't tell us, we wouldn't have known that Tiantian's uncle is President Hua. Hui Yanyan didn't have time to listen to what the kindergarten teacher said. She turned around and ran. After she got into her car, she stepped on the gas and sped away. A few teachers who didn't know what was going on were still talking about it. I thought Tiantian's mother was a mistress or something. She's President Hua's sister. Yeah, no wonder she's so rich. She drives a Porsche and carries bags that cost more than 100,000 yuan. I heard that a young lady from GK is also from the Hua family. Maybe they're related. After Hui Yanyan got into her car, she immediately dialed Hua Xiqian's number. No one picked up. This made her even more anxious. At the Kempinski Hotel, Western restaurant Tian Tian, is it good? Hua Xiqian was wearing a black tuxedo. He looked very gentlemanly as he sat beside Tian Tian. He ordered a lot of desserts, ice cream, and pizza for the child. Tian Tian was clearly enjoying the food. It's delicious. This is the best cake I've ever had. Thank you, uncle. Children were all innocent and didn't know about the grudges between adults. You're welcome. Eat more if it's delicious. Uncle, when is my mommy coming to pick me up? The little girl looked up and asked. No rush. Your mommy is busy right now and will probably come later. Uncle will accompany you. After we finish eating, let's go watch cartoons, okay? Do you like Bonnie Bears? I don't like it. That's outdated. I like to watch Peppa Pig now. I like to watch Polly the Transformed Police Car. Oh, I see. Okay, then we'll watch whatever you like, okay? Hua Xiqian patiently coaxed the child. He lovingly patted her head. Okay, uncle, you're the best. Hua Xiqian's phone vibrated. He took it out and looked at the caller ID coldly. Bitch, you're finally anxious. Who told you to make things difficult for me behind my back? Now it's your turn. What, are you scared? Hua Xiqian said to himself. He looked at Hu Yanyan's call but didn't pick it up. It was easy to find out where Hu Yanyan's daughter went to school, and it was even easier to pick her up. Hu Yanyan couldn't stay calm anymore. She wanted to call the police, but the police couldn't come in time. Someone like Hua Xiqian wouldn't be afraid of the police, right? What if something happened to Tian Tian? What would she do? Suddenly, a figure's persons appear on the side of suddenly appeared. Hers a T's a S S8 S. Now, he had to resort to scamming. It was disgusting. When the man saw Hui Yanyan, he was surprised at first, but then he smiled proudly. Oh, isn't this my ex-wife? Even if you're an acquaintance, I'll give you a discount. Now that you're with a rich man, I'm sure you're very rich. 1 million yuan, transfer it to my card, and we're done here. Otherwise, don't blame me for not letting you leave today. My leg is injured, and even if the traffic police come, they won't be able to find any clues. It seemed that he had done this very carefully. Get out of my way, I'm going to save Tian Tian. Hui Yanyan was in no mood to deal with this scumbag. Don't use the child as an excuse. I'm not, I'm really in a hurry. Get out of my way. Hui Yanyan angrily turned back to her car and restarted it. Hui Yanyan, don't even think about leaving if you don't give me the money. Either you give me the money, or you run over me. The scumbag wouldn't let go, trapping Hui Yanyan here. She was so angry that she lost her mind. She started the car and rushed towards the man with her eyes wide open. Hey, what are you doing? Do you really want to kill me? You're crazy. The man yelled in fear as he watched the car speeding towards him. Chapter 2464. Just as Hui Yanyan lost her mind and rushed over, the scumbag quickly dodged and was almost killed by the car. Crazy woman, you're fucking crazy, the man cursed behind her. Hui Yanyan drove away in her Porsche. If it weren't for the fact that she had to save the child today, she would have taught this man a lesson. After much consideration, Hui Yanyan decided to ask Shen Mingxi for help. After all, he was her man now. The Shen Corporation, Miss Hua, you're here. Shen Mingxi's secretary greeted her politely when she saw her. Is Mr. Shen here? He's in the small conference room. Should I inform him? Yes, please. I have something urgent to talk to him about. Hui Yanyan was very anxious. Okay, I'll inform him right away. After the secretary informed Hui Yanyan, Shen Mingxi left the client who was in the middle of a business meeting and walked out in a hurry. Yanyan, what's so urgent? I called you. Why did you turn off your phone? Hui Yanyan asked with tears in her eyes. My phone ran out of battery and I didn't have time to charge it. A client just came in. What's wrong? Shen Mingxi put his arm around Hui Yanyan's shoulder. He walked into the office and helped her sit down on the sofa. Mingxi, Tian Tian, was taken away by Hua Xiqian. What? Shen Mingxi froze when he heard this. What should I do? Help me think of a way to save her. Did Hua Xiqian find out about us and take revenge on me? I can't live without Tian Tian. Please help me. Hui Yanyan lost her usual calmness and rationality and burst into tears. Yanyan, don't cry. What happened? Tell me slowly. Today. I went to pick her up from school. When I arrived, I didn't see her. I asked the teacher, but she said that she was taken away by someone who said that he was her uncle. You know, Hua Xiqian is very good at disguising himself. The teachers must have thought that he was an entrepreneur with the same surname as me. They didn't suspect anything and let him take her away. I called Hua Xiqian, but he didn't pick up. He did it on purpose. Do you think he'll kill Tian Tian? Hua Yanyan's words came out intermittently. Shen Mingxi got the gist of what was going on from her sobbing. Hua Xiqian is despicable. Shen Mingxi's brows furrowed. Mingxi, what should we do now? Should we call the police? Yanyan's we're ass. Let's go. Shen Mingxi picked up his jacket and walked out. He pulled Hua Yanyan into the car. Then, he asked his men to investigate Hua Xiqian's current location. In the end, they found out that Hua Xiqian was having afternoon tea at the Kempinski Hotel. The two of them hurriedly drove to the hotel. As expected, Hua Xiqian was sitting by the window, leisurely drinking tea. However, he was alone. There was no sign of Tian Tian beside him. Hua Xiqian, where is my daughter? Hua Yanyan walked over and asked agitatedly. What are you asking? How would I know where your daughter is? Hua Xiqian laughed. Don't play dumb. The kindergarten teacher personally confirmed that you took my child away. If you don't hand her over, I'll call the police. Call the police. Very good. Go ahead and call the police. Let's see if calling the police will work. Hua Xiqian laughed mockingly. President Hua, even if there's a misunderstanding between you and Yanyan, you shouldn't have involved the child. As a man, I think you shouldn't be so despicable, Shen Mingxi said coldly as he looked at Hua Xiqian. I'm despicable. You must be joking. President Shen, you're pretending to work with me and setting me up at the same time. Is that something to be proud of? Hua Xiqian raised his eyebrows and looked at Shen Mingxi. Immediately, he and Hua Yanyan exchanged glances. It seemed that Hua Xiqian already knew everything. Hua Xiqian, what do you want? The child doesn't know anything. She's innocent. Don't go overboard, Hua Yanyan roared. Hua Yanyan, be a little more polite. Do you believe that I can turn your daughter into a corpse in the next second? Hua Xiqian said slowly. Hua Xiqian paused and continued, the scariest part is that Shen Mingxi always thought that his affair with Hua Yanyan was love. Ha! Now that you mention it, boss, he's indeed different from Su Yu and the others. Of course they're different. Su Yu is very smart. Most importantly, he has good taste and can see all the good things about Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian smiled. Walking out of the hotel, Hua Yanyan was worried. She didn't know if Hua Min would help her if she begged Hua Min. After all, Hua Min hated her identity as a third party. Ever since she got together with Shen Mingxi, Hua Min didn't seem to be as friendly to her as before. Chapter 2466. Southside Recuperation Center. Hua Min took off his black-rimmed glasses and white lab coat, ready to get off work. Chief, I'm leaving now. Drive slowly. Bye. Okay. Jia, you too. After saying goodbye, Hua Min picked up his bag. Just as he was about to lock his office door, he saw Shen Mingxi and Hua Yanyan walk in. Mian. Hua Yanyan opened her mouth, her eyes red and swollen. What's wrong? Are you here for a checkup? Hua Min was surprised. No, we're here for you, Shen Mingxi said slowly. Then, come in. Hua Min didn't lock his office door. He opened it again and led them in. Mian, Hua Xiqian kidnapped my daughter. You have to help me save her. Hua Yanyan grabbed Hua Min's hand emotionally, tears rolling down her cheeks again. Hua Xiqian kidnapped Tian Tian. What's going on? Hua Min was also confused. She poured 2 glasses of water for Shen Mingxi and Hui Yanyan. Then, Hui Yanyan told them what happened while crying. After hearing her story, Hua Min fell silent, his expression serious. Hua Min. I hope you can help Yanyan. Shen Mingxi only cared about Hui Yanyan and ignored Hua Min's difficulties. Young Master Shen, this is not that simple. First, let me ask you a question. Recently, did you do something to Hua Xichen? From what I know of him, if he wanted to take revenge on Yanyan, he would have done it a long time ago. Unless, did you provoke him? Hua Min asked seriously. Shen Mingxi and Hui Yanyan looked at each other and nodded, not daring to hide anything. We did do something that made the Hua Corporation stock market plunge. I thought he wouldn't know it was us. After all, he has so many enemies, Hui Yanyan said weakly. You want him to think it was Qin Chu who did it, right? Hua Min asked calmly. No, that's not what I was thinking. Hui Yanyan immediately waved her hand and explained. It's fine. It's normal for you to think that way. The whole world knows that Hua Xiqian's enemy is Qin Chu. So, no matter who did something to hurt the Hua Corporation, others might think it was Qin Chu who did it. But the point is, Hua Xiqian is not an ordinary person. He's not stupid. He'll definitely investigate. Whatever you did can't escape his eyes. I warned you that Hua Xiqian is not easy to deal with, but you didn't listen. You thought I was afraid of him, but what about now? You're also dumbfounded by what happened to your child, aren't you? Hui Yanyan didn't say anything. She just lowered her head and cried, listening to Hua Min scolding her. Shen Mingxi, on the other hand, had been defending Hui Yanyan, so he argued, Hua Min, now is not the time to blame Yanyan. Saving people is more important. Do you really think Hua Xichen just wants to see me? Do you know that my husband arranged a lot of people to protect me, just in case I get kidnapped by Hua Xichen one day? If I go see him, won't I be like a lamb in a tiger's den? He won't hurt you, right? Shen Mingxi froze. He didn't seem to know much about the relationship between Hua Xichen and Hua Min. Yan, you should know better than anyone that Hua Xichen won't hurt me. Hua Min glanced at Hui Yanyan coldly. Yes, I know. I don't have a choice. Mian, I beg you. I can't lose my daughter. Hui Yanyan got up, knelt down, and kowtowed to Hua Min. Shen Mingxi went to help her up. Yan, get up. What are you doing? Yan, you said it yourself. You can't lose your daughter. What about me? I'm also a mother. If something happens to me over there, what will happen to my 2 daughters? Hua Min asked word by word. He didn't feel good either. He knew that his words might sound too cold, but it was the truth. Chapter 2467. Hua Min, are you saying that you won't help me? Shen Mingxi seemed to be complaining. It's not that I don't want to help you, but I can't, Hua Min answered without hesitation. Get up, Yan. Let's go. No, Hua Min, I beg you. This is the last time, okay? Since I saved Little Bean and Little Bean's lives, please help me. Sure enough, Hui Yanyan finished her act and continued to play the kindness card. Seeing that Hua Min didn't speak, Hui Yanyan continued, I know you're a righteous person and look down on me. You've always thought that I was the third party who came between Mingxi and Wei Ying. Wei Ying is young Master Wei's sister and Dr. Zhang's sister-in-law. You've always been close to them, so it's normal that you don't like me. It's not that I don't like you, Yan. You have to have a conscience. It's not like that. Hua Min was surprised that Hua Yanyan could twist the truth and try to provoke her into going to Hua Xichen. Although she did it for her daughter, Hua Min was still surprised that Hua Yanyan would do it. Forget it, Yanyan. Don't beg. Not everyone knows how to be grateful. You saved her daughter, but she might not save yours. Not many women are as stupid and kind as you. Let's go. I'll fight Hua Xichen to the death. I won't let anything happen to the kids. Shen Mingxi's words were harsh, as if all women in the world, except for Hua Yanyan, were evil and evil. Seeing Shen Mingxi drag Hua Yanyan out, Hua Min closed his eyes. Forget it. I promise you. Mian, you're willing to help me. Hua Yanyan turned around abruptly, a hint of joy flashing in her eyes. Yes, I'll help you. This is the last time. Just as you said, you saved my daughter. Now it's my turn to repay you. That's not what I meant. I just wanted to save my daughter, you don't have to explain. I understand. Hua Min turned and walked out, locking the office door behind him. I'm going to talk to Hua Xichen now. You guys go home and wait for my news. He's a man of his word. I think the kids. And you'd better leave now. Don't let my husband know that you came to see me. If he knows, he won't let you get away. Then, coldly, Huazi's Hua Min turned. Huyenya cts tt hitacia 8 s2s tt chin chu aside, even Suyu would be furious if he knew. The reason why Hua Min was angry and didn't want to help Hua Yanyan was because he thought she was despicable. He had warned her not to mess with Hua Xichen, but she didn't listen. Now that things had gotten out of hand, she had to clean up the mess. Hua Yanyan was indeed pitiful to have to take care of her child. But, even the most pitiful villain was detestable. Hua Mian didn't sympathize with Hua Yanyan at all. Just as she said, she was helping Hua Yanyan one last time because she wanted to repay Hua Yanyan for letting Hua Yanyan go. Yanyan, don't cry. If Hua Min goes, I'm sure Hua Xichen will let her go. He comforted Hua Yanyan. The two walked out of South Side and drove away. When Hua Min came out, she called Hua Xichen with her colleague's phone. Then, she drove to the hotel alone. She had a feeling that this meeting with Hua Xichen wasn't as simple as it seemed. She had a feeling that something big was about to happen. As she drove, she felt uneasy. Chapter 2468. Inside the hotel lounge, Hua Yanyan's daughter sat on the sofa with a pink Peppa Pig doll in her hand. Uncle, when can I go home? Soon. When I'm done, I'll send someone to drive you home. Okay. Do you want to go home? Hua Xichen sat down beside the little girl. Yeah. If I don't go home, Mommy will worry about me, Tian said in a low voice. Is your mommy good to you? Hua Xichen suddenly asked. Yeah, she's good. It's just that sometimes when she's in a bad mood, she smashes a lot of things. I get scared. Does your dad come to see you? Dad came to see us a few times, but he always asked for money. Mommy said that Dad isn't a good person and that he'll get his retribution sooner or later. Uncle Shen is a good person. He's good to us and gives us money to spend. He buys us a lot of nice things. Your mommy taught you these things? Hua Xichen was a bit surprised. Then, he looked down on Hua Yanyan even more. How could she teach her child to hate? Such a young child had to distinguish between rich and good people. What kind of education was this? Why weren't the two cute kids in Mian's family like this? It seemed that children's reincarnation was really a skill. Uncle, are you not on good terms with my mommy? Tian Tian raised her head with the doll in her arms and asked weakly. Why would you say that? Hua Xiqian smiled. Because I've never seen you before. Mommy must not be on good terms with you. The little girl's words made sense. Hua Xiqian was silent for a while and then smiled. Your mommy and I are not on good terms, but that has nothing to do with you. Also, don't be like your mom. You're still young. When you grow up, you have to learn to distinguish right from wrong. Tian Tian was confused. Hua Xiqian was also a bit surprised that he was lecturing her. In fact, if she wasn't Hui Yanyan's child, he would really like Tian Tian. This child was honest, obedient, and knew how to read people's faces. She wasn't naughty and didn't have princess syndrome. What a pity. Hua Xiqian was deep in thought when one of his subordinates walked over and said softly, Boss, Miss Hua is here. Tell me, which Miss Hui Yanyan? Hua Xiqian wanted to confirm if Hui Yanyan was back. It's Miss Mian. She's outside. Alright, tell the kitchen to start cooking. Alright. Tian Tian, I'll get someone to send you home now. Alright, but... The little girl seemed to be hesitating. What's wrong? Hua Xiqian asked curiously. Uncle, can I take this toy with me? I really like this doll, and I want to bring it home. Is that okay? The little girl carefully looked at Hua Xiqian's expression and asked. Of course. That's great. Thank you, uncle. The little girl danced with joy when she heard that Hua Xiqian had agreed. Ah Wang, drive her home. Just leave her at the security guard's office, Hua Xiqian instructed. Yes, boss. Chapter 2469. Huamin didn't say anything. Instead, he looked at him quietly. She's probably going to put on a pitiful act. She's going to cry about how I kidnapped her daughter and how I'm an asshole, right? Is she wrong? Huamin asked coldly. Then, when it comes to the emotional part, she might also kowtow to you and beg you to find me, right? Huamin bit his lip and didn't say anything. However, Hua Xiqian was right. Let me guess. If she still can't convince you in the end, she's going to use her trump card. If I remember correctly, she was the one who saved your twins when Hua Xi kidnapped them last time. So, she must be using this incident to convince you to repay her kindness, right? It seems like you know Hui Yanyan well. Huamin was impressed by Hua Xiqian's guesses. He was right. Hui Yanyan was crying, throwing a tantrum and threatening to hang herself. She did everything she could. Huamin didn't want to, but he still came. Huamin was the most principled person. She was never a heartless person, of course I know her. If you weren't close to her and always protected her, do you think I would have let her live until now after Hua Xi's death? She didn't know her place. Instead, she hooked up with that brainless guy from the Shen family. Then, they teamed up and used petty tricks to deal with me. What an eyesore. So, you kidnapped her daughter to threaten her. Huamin glared at him. Isn't that the most direct and effective way? Hua Xiqian spread his hands, looking nonchalant. I hate your smug face the most. You think you're doing nothing wrong, but I've never approved of your methods. It's okay. I don't need your approval or understanding. It's okay. Hua Xiqian smiled. At this time, the waiters began to serve the dishes one after another. They were all seafood. Lobsters, abalones, crabs, phoenix-tailed prawns, scallops, everything, they're all very fresh. Eat them while they're hot. Hua Xiqian picked up the prawn and began to peel it. Then, he carefully handed the prawn to Huamin. Only Huamin could make Hua Xiqian spend so much effort to please him. Hua Xiqian, I'm not here today to eat with you. I'm here to repay Hua Yinyan's kindness. I know, he said. At that moment, Huamin's phone rang. It was a call from Hua Yinyan. She raised her hand to answer the call. Mian, the security office in our neighborhood called and said that the kids have gone home. Thank you so much. You're welcome. As long as the kids are fine. Huamin hung up the phone. Huamin stood up. Since there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Mian. Aren't you going to sit down and have dinner with me? Hua Xiqian tried to persuade her to stay. You know how much I don't like you. Huamin turned around and looked at him calmly. Of course I know. But it doesn't affect my love for you. It's just like, all these years, I've watched you treat everyone well, except for me. There's no point in talking about this. What do you want? Just be straightforward. You should know that if I go home late, Qin Chu will definitely come looking for me. Then. Huamin didn't continue. You think I'm afraid of him? Hua Xiqian laughed. You're not afraid, but he definitely won't let you go. If you've been living a comfortable life for too long and want some excitement, you can give it a try. Mian. I really like how you can stay rational at all times. Hua Xiqian looked at her with infatuation. Huamin didn't say anything. Mian, how about we make a bet? Hua Xiqian said with a smile as he peeled the crab's shell. Chapter 2470. What do you want to bet on? A lifetime of happiness. Hua Xiqian looked up abruptly and met Huamin's eyes. His eyes were filled with a light that she had never seen before. I don't really understand what you mean, let's talk about the stakes first. Huamin didn't know what Hua Xiqian was up to, so she kept her guard up. If you lose, you'll have to go with me to the ends of the earth. If I lose, I'll give you my life and end it on my own. Upon hearing Hua Xiqian's words, Huamin was a little shocked. She didn't think that Hua Xiqian would make such a big bet this time. What do you want to bet on? Let's bet that you and Qin Chu can't withstand the test, okay? Hua Xiqian smiled meaningfully. Huamin felt a chill run down her spine when she saw his smile. Why should I bet with you? Don't you want to see if the man you said you loved your whole life will have a change of heart and can't withstand the test? He definitely won't. That's hard to say. So, do you want to bet with me? You don't have to provoke me, I won't fall for your tricks. I have absolute trust in Mr. Qin. You can't just provoke me with a few words. So, are you scared? My little sister Mian. What am I scared of? What do I have to be scared of? Huamin was a little annoyed and turned to look at Hua Xiqian. You're not sure either. That's why you're scared. You don't dare to bet with me. You're scared that you and Qin Chu can't withstand the test. Whatever you say, it's ridiculous. Either you tie me up and leave me here, or I'm leaving right now. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. After speaking, Huamin walked out confidently. Boss, are we letting Miss Mian go just like that? One of his subordinates ran over and asked. He seemed to know that the boss was someone he had invited with great difficulty. How could he let him go so easily? Let her go. There's no hurry. Hua Xiqian sent a short video to Qin Chu's phone. With a ring, Qin Chu received a video call. When he opened it, his face slowly darkened. They couldn't hear anything, but they could see that Huamin and Hua Xiqian were sitting face to face. Hua Xiqian was still peeling the shrimp and handing it to Huamin. The image ended there. It only lasted for about 7 to 8 seconds. Daddy, what's wrong? Little Bean was watching TV on the side and saw that her daddy's face didn't look right. It's nothing. It's just a spam message. After Chin Chu said that, he closed his phone and didn't say anything else. Not long after, Hua Min came home. Hello, babies. Mommy, you're home so late today. Are you working overtime at the hospital again? Little Bean asked. Yeah. The hospital has been very busy lately. There are a lot of surgeries, Hua Min explained randomly. You just had a surgery? Chin Chu asked casually. Yeah. Why? Hua Min replied, not noticing anything. Nothing. Have you eaten? Yeah. Hua Min didn't have much of an appetite, so he lied. I'm going upstairs to take a shower. I'm so tired. After Hua Min said that, he went upstairs. However, he didn't notice the subtle change on Chin Chu's face. 9 p.m. After Chin Chu finished dealing with company matters in the study, he returned to the bedroom. Hua Min was already lying on the bed with a medical research book in his hand. You're done. Hua Min rolled over and hugged Chin Chu's waist. Yeah. Honey, what's wrong with you today? You don't seem to be in a good mood. Seeing how worried Chin Chu was, Hua Min couldn't help but ask. Honey, has Hua Sichin been looking for you lately? Chin Chu asked casually. Chapter 2471. No, why do you ask? Hua Min felt a little guilty when he said this. He didn't want Mr. Chin to worry, so he didn't dare to talk about what happened tonight. Plus, if he told the truth, Mr. Chin might go look for Shen Mingxi and Hui Yanyan. Nothing, I'm just asking. Then, Chin Chu lay down and closed his eyes. You're sleeping so early. What time is it? Hua Min laid on Chin Chu's chest and whined. Honey, I'm a little tired, let's sleep. Oh, all right then. Hua Min knew he was asking for trouble, so he lay down beside Chin Chu, turned around, and closed his eyes. The atmosphere between the couple was a little weird, but they both had their own thoughts and didn't want to say it out loud. The truth was, sometimes misunderstandings were scary. If they couldn't be resolved, it would only get worse and worse. The next morning, when Hua Min woke up for breakfast, he didn't see Chin Chu. Mrs. Chin woke up early and made dumplings for the twins with the maids in the kitchen. Mom, where's Chu? Hua Min picked up a glass of milk and took a sip. Oh, he went to work. So early. Hua Min was a little surprised. He said he had to go to the construction site first, so he left a little early. He also told me not to wake you up and let you sleep a little longer. Lady Chin smiled. Oh, okay. After a simple breakfast, Hua Min drove to South Side. However, just as he was about to reach South Side, the car broke down at a fork in the road. Embarrassed, Hua Min forced the car into the emergency lane and was about to call the repair shop. Just as he was about to call the phone, he saw a flashy purple Ferrari parked by the side of the road. What's wrong? Hua Min. My car has a problem. Pointing to his car, Hua Min said. Let me have a look, Lu Zhe said as he walked over. You know how to fix cars? A little. After that, he walked to the front of the car, lifted the hood, and checked the engine. You have parts that need to be replaced. You should go to the 4S shop for repairs. All right. Hua Min then called the repair shop and got ready to flag down a taxi. It's not that far away. Why are you still taking a taxi? Come on, we're all colleagues. I'll give you a ride. Lu Zhe smiled. Min was a little embarrassed, but he still got into his car. Because it was a supercar, there were only 2 seats. Min had no choice but to sit beside him in the front passenger seat. Seatbelt, he reminded her with a smile. Min put on his seatbelt, and the 2 of them headed to South Side. To be honest, I didn't expect you to really become a doctor, Lu Zhe said. That's always been my dream. It's not surprising, Min replied as he looked out the window. If Qin Chu didn't come back to find you, would you have married your university boyfriend? Lu Zhe asked. You seem to know a lot about me. Min looked at Lu Zhe cautiously. If I told you that I've always been interested in you, would you believe me? Lu Zhe's eyes were looking straight ahead, his hands on the steering wheel were white and slender. Lu Zhe didn't have Qin Chu's indifference and arrogance, nor did he have Su Yu's domineering shyness. He was more like a gentle and refined prince, gentle with a hint of elegance, easygoing with a hint of gentlemanly. After Min heard this, he only smiled faintly. What are you smiling about? You don't believe me. Lu Zhe tilted his head and looked at her. No, I just wanted to say that if it wasn't for this class reunion, and if it wasn't for the class monitor reminding me so many times, I really wouldn't remember who you are. After Min finished speaking, Lu Zhe's expression changed. Chapter 2472. Sometimes the way you talk is really. Lu Zhe smiled awkwardly. You don't give people face, right? Or are you trying to act cool? Min finished for him. Not really, but Han Su is right. Your style is still the same as before, you're always so direct, Lu Zhe commented with a smile. I'm a simple person. It's either black or white. That way, life isn't so tiring. Yes, you're right. That way, life is indeed more carefree, Lu Zhe agreed. Min only smiled and didn't say anything else. Min, are you and Qin Chu happy? He suddenly asked. Of course. Then, you must love him a lot, right? Of course, Min answered firmly. I'm so envious of Qin Chu. He has a wife who's so devoted to him. You're wrong. I think more women envy me for having a husband who loves me more than his own life. Just then, the car slowly drove into the South Side parking lot. Min looked at his watch. I'm running out of time. I have to go upstairs for a meeting. Thank you for giving me a ride. After speaking, Min hurriedly got out of the car and ran into the hospital lobby. Lu Zhe looked at the back of the car thoughtfully. His eyes became deep in thought. After the meeting, Min was about to return to his office when a nurse from the obstetrics and gynecology department rushed over. Vice Director, we have an emergency in the obstetrics and gynecology department. Director Zhao asked me to come find you. The nurse was out of breath from running. Speak slowly. What's going on? We had a patient come in last night. She saw red and wanted to deliver naturally. But, it's been almost 10 hours since last night and her cervix still hasn't opened. Just keep waiting. These are all normal occurrences. No, she's in so much pain that she's about to collapse. Director Zhao just checked her and found that the position of the child has changed. Now, every time the mother exerts force, the fetus will run to the left and won't go down at all. Director Zhao said that the position is wrong and it's a difficult labor. He's afraid that the mother is in danger. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and perform the cesarean section. Min made a prompt decision. Chief Zhao said the same thing, but the pregnant woman's husband, mother-in-law, and eldest sister-in-law didn't agree to the surgery at all. They refused to sign the papers and scolded Chief Xiao for being an unscrupulous doctor who wanted to cheat them of their money. That's why they allowed the surgery. Ridiculous. How could there be such an ignorant family member? Hua Min's face darkened. Yes, the situation is very urgent now. Seeing that the mother can't hold on any longer, we are all worried about the safety of the mother and the child, but her family is still determined to let her have a natural birth. We are in a stalemate, and we really don't know what to do. Director Xiao asked me to come to you and ask you to think of a way. In this situation, should our hospital intervene or not? I'll go take a look. Hua Min's face was cold as he handed the documents in his hand to Qin Jia. Then, he hurried to the gynecology and obstetrics department with the nurse. This kind of situation was rare. After all, everyone had to pay attention to the safety of the mother and child. Not many people were so ignorant. However, there were all kinds of fish in the sea. Today, they might have encountered a weirdo. Chief Xiao was only a gynecologist, so she didn't dare to make such a decision. If she insisted on performing a cesarean section and the family members caused a scene, there would be a lot of trouble in the future. Paying a monetary penalty was the least of it. If she didn't handle it well, there would be complaints and her career would be over. If she didn't do anything and let the family members cause a scene, the mother and child's lives were in danger, and the family members wouldn't let it go. At the end of the day, no matter what she did, it seemed wrong. No one dared to take on such a hot potato. President Wu was out of town for a meeting, so she could only ask Hua Min to solve this problem. When Hua Min arrived, he directly pushed through the crowd and walked up to the bed to see the mother. Hey, who are you? Why did you come in? The mother's unruly mother-in-law looked at Hua Min impolitely. Chapter 2473. This is Deputy Director Hua. He's also a very authoritative doctor, the nurse introduced. The old lady's expression softened a little when she heard that Hua Mian was the deputy director. Since he's the deputy director, hurry up and arrange for my daughter-in-law to enter the delivery room. Give birth to my grandson as soon as possible, the old lady ordered. Hua Min ignored the old lady. He walked directly to the bed and glanced at the pregnant woman. The woman's face was pale, and she was sweating profusely. She didn't seem to be in a clear state of mind. The pain was probably too severe. Hua Min reached out and touched her forehead. Fortunately, she didn't have a fever. He checked her heart rate and blood pressure and found that they were starting to rise. Are you okay? Hua Min held the woman's hand and asked softly. The woman slowly opened her eyes and glanced at Hua Min. Then, she nodded reluctantly. She seemed to be in so much pain that she couldn't speak. You don't have to speak. Listen to me. Your situation is very dangerous. We've done a checkup on you and found that the position of the fetus has deviated. The ultrasound shows that the fetus is obviously too big. If you insist on a natural birth, your life will be in danger. Not only you, but the baby may also suffocate during the birth. So, we plan to do a C-section for you immediately. However, your family members won't sign the papers, so I'm going to ask you if you can put your fingerprint on it. If you agree, we'll do it immediately. If you insist on a natural birth, you'll have to bear the consequences later. It'll be too late for regrets. I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you agree, nod your head. Before the woman could say anything, her mother-in-law exploded. What do you want to do? We've already said that we don't want surgery. You deceptive doctors and black-hearted hospitals just want to cheat us of our money. We all know that. A natural birth only costs a few thousand, but a C-section can easily cost tens of thousands. You've scammed us all. You unscrupulous doctors, don't touch my daughter-in-law. We want a natural birth. In her current situation, it's not a natural birth. Her life will be in danger, Huamin explained. Stop trying to scare us. I'll just say that your skills are not up to par. If you don't dare to do it, we'll immediately transfer to another hospital. We'll go to the first hospital to do it. You doctors, your medical skills are not up to par, and you still want to trick us. You're really wicked. Based on the current situation, both adults and children will be in danger if they are transferred to another hospital, Huamin continued. I don't believe your nonsense. Son, go call a taxi. Let's go. The old lady was very angry. She turned her head and looked at her son who was standing behind her. The man was about 1.8 meters tall, but he looked like a yes man. He didn't have any ideas and listened to his mother. He looked like a typical mommy's boy. Huamin ignored them and approached the woman again. Have you thought it through? You have to make a choice for the safety of you and your baby. Otherwise, your mother-in-law will transfer you to another hospital. If something happens to you along the way, even the gods won't be able to save you. Don't let your ignorance waste an innocent life. Perhaps Huamin's words made the pregnant woman waver. In the end, she nodded. Do you agree to the surgery? Huamin asked. The woman nodded again. Xiaolin, go get the surgery risk report. I'll ask the woman to sign it herself. Okay, Deputy Director. How dare you? If you do the surgery for us, I'll sue your hospital until you go bankrupt. I'm telling you. The ignorant old lady blocked the young nurse from getting the risk report. Xiaolong, go and inform Chief Xiao and the others to prepare for the surgery. I'll send the woman to the operating room now. Okay, Deputy Director. Why are you still standing there? Come and stop this woman. The old lady was also anxious. She yelled at her son behind her. The man seemed to have just woken up from a dream. He walked over and stopped Huamin, not letting her move. If you do this, your wife and child will die. Do you know that? Huamin questioned coldly. Chapter 2474. The man hesitated for a moment. Son, don't listen to this woman's nonsense. A C-section isn't good for my grandson. I gave birth to you before the C-section was done, and I was still healthy. Hospitals nowadays are really killing people. The old lady continued to nag. Huamin couldn't take it anymore. He pushed the man away and dragged the woman out of the room. What are you doing? Are you crazy? The old lady panicked when she saw Huamin's stubbornness. What are you looking at? Hit her. The old lady urged her son to hit Huamin. The man's eyes met with Huamin's and he immediately softened. If you dare to touch me, I promise you'll regret it for the rest of your life, Huamin said sternly. I feel sorry for your wife. She entrusted her happiness to a coward like you. Get out of the way. Don't stop me from saving people. Huamian pushed the man away forcefully. Then, she and the nurse on standby pushed the mother's bed out of the room. Everything was done so quickly and cleanly. All the onlooking medical staff couldn't help but praise Huamian in their hearts. Hurry up and stop her. Are you crazy? The old lady began to beat her son and complained. Mom. Forget it. I think. If Liping doesn't have surgery soon, she'll be in danger, the man finally said. You believe these bullshit doctors? The old lady roared. If you don't believe them, don't stay in the hospital when you're sick. You're so good, you should go home and recover. One of the doctors couldn't take it anymore and said to the old lady, "Hey, how can you say that? What kind of person are you?" The old lady seemed to be biting everyone she saw. No one was around to watch. "I'm telling you, when that deputy director comes out, I'll sue her. I'll complain to her as much as I can," the old lady said angrily. "Then hurry up and go. We'll see how our deputy director's husband kills you." A few nurses snickered and ran over. "Vice director, just now, you were really domineering," a young nurse said excitedly. "That's right. I didn't expect department director Hua, who usually looks so gentle, to be so powerful." It really made the mother and son blush with shame. This woman is lucky. Otherwise, if we didn't dare to do the surgery, we might have really killed both her and her son. I heard that when Department Director Hua was an intern nurse at the first hospital, she performed surgery on a pregnant woman without permission. At that time, she was even accused by the woman's family. I really didn't expect such a shameless person to repay kindness with ingratitude. But then again, the deputy director is really awesome. No wonder President Wu trusts her so much. She's really powerful. Yeah, that's why she has such a good husband. If I were a man, I would love a woman like her to death. Although she doesn't have the looks to cause the downfall of a country, she is really charming. Yeah. A few young nurses talked as they walked. When Lu Zhe came out of the cardiac surgery department, he heard the whole hospital talking about it. "What's wrong? What kind of earth-shattering thing has our Vice Dean Hua done this time?" Lu Zhe asked his assistant with a smile. Chapter 2475. Dr. Liu, you didn't see that wonderful scene just now. Our deputy director is so awesome. He single-handedly fought against an unreasonable and stupid mother and son and saved the life of a pregnant woman. Oh, no, although the pregnant woman doesn't know the situation now, our team is confident in Deputy Director Hua's medical skills. We believe that the mother and child will be safe and sound. The assistant excitedly explained the situation to Lu Zhe. He immediately felt deep respect for Huamin. No wonder this woman was a legend at Southside. It seemed that she was indeed extraordinary. "Excuse me, is Dr. Huamin here?" Suyu walked in wearing a white Versace suit with one hand in his pocket and asked at the door. Young Master Su, please wait a moment. I'll ask." The nurse in the lobby was so excited that her heart almost jumped out of her chest when she saw Suyu. Suyu had been hospitalized at Southside before and would occasionally visit Huamin, so all the nurses at Southside knew him. Especially his limited edition Lamborghini Sixth Element, it was so cool that no one had friends. After making a phone call, the nurse blushed and said, "Vice Director Hua is having surgery in the OB/GYN department. She'll be out soon. Young Master Su, can you wait for a moment?" "Okay, I'll wait for her in the office." Then, Suyu walked directly to Huamin's office. Vice Director Hua is so lucky. She's good friends with young Master Su. The nurse looked at Suyu with infatuation. Outside the OB/GYN department, "Dr. Hua, how's the mother?" The nurses were very concerned about the mother's health. "She's fine now. Thank goodness we saved her in time." Huamin took off her mask and let out a long sigh of relief. "Where's my grandson? Is he okay?" The old lady suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Huamin glanced at her and said coldly, "Your daughter-in-law gave birth to a little princess." "What?" The old lady immediately raised her voice. "It's a girl." The man was obviously surprised. "It's a baby girl. 8 kilograms. She's white and fat. With this weight, it's impossible for your wife to give birth naturally. Fortunately, the surgery was done. After Huamin finished speaking, he walked tiredly to his office. The old lady and the man obviously didn't believe it. They wanted to rush in, but they were stopped. Family members, please wait for a moment. The mother will be out soon. We want to see the child. The old lady was very excited. The child will be out soon. Wait patiently. Huamin laughed in relief. To be honest, he knew that the old lady favored boys over girls and kept calling him her grandson. So when Huamin told her that it was a baby girl, he felt really good when he saw the stunned expression on her face. It was fine not to stay in such a family, but what was wrong with giving birth to a daughter? Were girls not good enough? If everyone gave birth to a boy, where would they find a wife? Was the whole world going to be gay? Thinking of this crazy idea, Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Pfft, she laughed out loud. What's so funny? Lu Zhe popped out of nowhere, scaring Huamin. You, drink something. I just heard about your heroic deeds. Dr. Hua, you're really amazing. Lu Zhe handed over a bottle of Red Bull to Huamin to replenish his energy. But surprisingly, she didn't take it. She wouldn't easily drink a drink from a stranger, especially Lu Zhe, whom she suspected. Thank you, but it's not that I don't like drinks. Plain water suits me better. Just as Lu Zhe was about to say something, he saw Suyu walking over from afar. Lu Zhe stopped immediately and stopped following Huamin. Mian, you're done with the surgery. Suyu smiled gently. Lord Su, why are you so free today? Seeing Suyu, Huamin was a little surprised. Chapter 2476. I'm not busy today, so I came to see you. Do you have time for lunch? Suyu smiled. Right now. I have to see patients in the afternoon. How about we go to the cafeteria for lunch? Do you mind? Huamin smiled. I don't mind, it's your treat. Mr. Rich God, don't cheat me. I'm from a small family. I can't compare to a prince like you who spends money like water. Okay, stop teasing me. Let's go. Okay. Huamin and Suyu talked and laughed as they walked towards the hospital cafeteria. Huamian ignored Lu Zhe's presence and didn't even spare him a glance. Lu Zhe stared at Huamin and Suyu's backs with a complicated expression. Hey, Dr. Lu, you didn't go for lunch. Chen Jia came out of Huamin's office and saw Lu Zhe standing not far from the door. I wanted to go with Dr. Hua, but her friend came. Yeah, Mr. Su is a good friend of our director, Chen Jia said proudly. Really? Have they known each other for a long time? Lu Zhe asked tentatively. Yeah, a few years. Suyu seems to be good to Dr. Hua. Lu Zhe said meaningfully. They're good friends, of course they're good friends. Mr. Su is good to all his friends, and he's also good friends with our director's husband, President Qin, Chen Jia explained to prevent gossip from spreading. Okay, I understand. Ha! Dr. Hua is a legendary woman. Lu Zhe smiled and walked away. Chen Jia tilted her head and curiously asked the other nurses to walk forward. Shao Jia, did you notice? Why do I feel that this new Dr. Lu seems to be very interested in our director? Don't talk nonsense. The chief has a husband and a child. She doesn't like gossip. Chen Jia was a little annoyed. Oh, I'm not trying to smear the director's reputation. What I mean is, could it be that our director is too outstanding, so this new Dr. Liu admires her too. I heard that Dr. Liu's family is also very rich, and the car he drives is a limited edition Ferrari. He's the standard tall, rich, and handsome man. If only he likes me. The young nurse was infatuated. In the corner of the cafeteria, Huamin helped Suyu get a big bowl of rice. I got you some eggplant with garlic sauce, sweet and sour fish, and stir-fried broccoli. Is that okay? Sure, I'm not picky. Suyu smiled. It seemed like it had been a long time since the two of them ate face to face like this. Suyu had been deliberately keeping a distance from Huamin. He was afraid that others would gossip and Qin Chu would misunderstand. Are you here to hang out, or are you here to see me? Huamian asked casually. I miss you, so I'm here to see you. Can't I? Suyu said directly. Huamin was speechless, and his expression became very unnatural. Seeing this, Suyu explained, Hey, I'm just kidding. Don't take it seriously. I'm so busy all day, how can I have time to miss you? Do you really think you're a fairy? When I have time, I go out and pick up girls. What's wrong? Is there a new situation? Huamin smiled. My old man always tries to introduce me, but none of those crooked melons and dates are good enough for me. Then what kind of girl are you looking for? Huamin asked as he ate. No matter what, I have to find a girl like Anne Hathaway. Suyu said the name of a Hollywood superstar. Huamin almost burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Suyu scratched his head and looked very cute. Chapter 2477. Anne Hathaway. Excuse me, is she the actress who played the White Queen in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland? Yeah, isn't she pretty? Your taste isn't good. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Forget it, it's not the same as a country girl's taste. Suyu waved her hand and deliberately teased Huamin. Okay. It's my honor to have lunch with you, Lord Su. Ha. Come, have some more braised pork. Huamin picked out the braised pork from his plate and put it on Suyu's plate. Huamin didn't like fatty meat, so she usually put it in Qin Chu's bowl. So it had become a habit. She didn't think much of it, but Suyu's heart was full of happiness. Looking at the braised pork that she picked up, for a moment, Suyu couldn't bear to eat it. Why are you in a daze? You don't like fatty meat either. No. I like it. Suyu lowered her head and ate the piece of meat in one big bite. I'm so tired today. It's been a long time since such an urgent situation. Focusing on the surgery is more tiring than working overtime for a week, Huamin complained. What are so many doctors in your hospital doing? You're already the deputy director, why do you still have to do this? I don't understand. Suyu complained because she felt sorry for Huamin's work intensity. It's not like that. Today's situation was a little special. The other doctors didn't dare to take responsibility. Then, Huamin briefly told Suyu what happened. Suyu widened her eyes and looked at Huamin. What? What's with that look? You did something that no one else did. Are you a tiger? Suyu glared at her. Ha ha ha. Suyu's words made Huamin burst out laughing. You're still laughing. You should be more careful. Suyu was speechless. As the deputy director, I have to do my best to save the patient's life. This is my responsibility. I can't say that I'm a doctor to save the dying and heal the injured. In fact, I'm not that great of a person, but I absolutely can't watch the patient die in front of me. I won't allow such a thing to happen. As for other things, I really don't think too much about it. What if her husband hits you? Silly girl. Suyu was still scared. What if Hwamin was beaten up by such an unreasonable mother and son? After all, she was a weak woman. I'm not that weak, okay? Although I'm different from Ning Ning and the others and I don't know Taekwondo, I still have anesthetics on me. If they push me too far, I'll give them acupuncture. Plus, this is South Side, my territory. My colleagues won't let me suffer, so don't make a fuss. Damn it. I really think you're risking your life by doing this job. Suyu was unhappy. Okay, let's not talk about this. Do you want some soup? I'll go get you a bowl. No, I'm full. Oh, right. I came here today to give you something. Where is it? It's in your office. What is it? Hwamin froze. Grandpa brought it back from Jing City. He said it's the most advanced remote-controlled robot. It can sing, dance, chat, play games, and even fight. It's so fun. I heard it's a technology company that hasn't started selling it yet. When Grandpa went abroad for a visit, they gave it to him. Grandpa was even funnier. He thought it was interesting and asked me to give it to the twins. Lord Su is so nice. Thank him for me. He likes the twins. You're welcome. Suyu, I actually want to tell you something, and can you not be angry when you hear it? Hwamin stammered. Tell me first. I'll decide if I'm angry or not. Suyu smiled. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.